Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Good People Play Games podcast. My name is Christian. I'll be the host for the podcast. I'd like to welcome you to our first episode. You'll notice that the first episode we will not be talking about games, which is what our podcast will normally focus on in the future, but instead on the recently made How to Train Your Dragon live action remake. If you can't tell by my friends here, How to Train Your Dragon is quite important to me, both culturally and artistically, and the new movie was such a shadow of its former self, I decided to make a 4-hour rant about all of the things I didn't like about it. So please feel free to sit back, relax, enjoy the commentary, and if you have any thoughts you'd like to add to the discussion or minor details I may have missed, please feel free to leave it in the comments below. Thank you so much and enjoy.
See, the cool thing about not doing this live is we can just edit all the bad parts out later.
Possibly.
What do you mean, possibly?
I mean, that requires that you go through 3 hours of video and edit it, then.
I used to edit videos for my buddy who's a Twitch streamer.
Understandable. If you're good at it, you're good at it. Fair enough. I'm not. I've not looked into it still. Though maybe I need to.
You should.
So gotta start making YouTube videos. There's a guy that I play Warframe with. He's been making YouTube videos recently. And it's by making YouTube videos, I mean, he has one short and it has 7 views, and I liked it and subscribed to his channel. He now has 7 subscribers, and I'm one of them.
Do you know how many shorts we're going to get from this little 3 hour segment of film?
Approximately 1.
What do you mean?
This particular one.
No. No, we're going to get a lot more clips because I'm about to get passionate, alright?
Okay.
I have been waiting for this for a week and 2 weeks.
Should I be holding the camera so that so that we can see the anger in your eyes?
No. Listen, I have been a How to Train Your Dragon fan for the longest time.
Oh yeah? When did they come out?
Yeah, it's 2010.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Don't even... Well, I mean 2025 technically if you want to get...
Well, yeah, but that one doesn't count because there's only one original character.
Correct.
If they'd gone for the Gobber, right? Because the voice actor...
Who voiced Gobber originally? Jamie, pull it up.
Unfortunately, we're Jamie today.
Who voiced Gobber originally?
He doesn't look that far off, I didn't think. Let me look too.
IMDb, How to Train Your Dragon. It's Craig Ferguson, I think? Let's see.
Oh, dude, yeah, he definitely could fit that role pretty well. They would just give him a big old beard. Or the mustache, as is?
Yes, Gobber was Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So definitely he could have fit the role. Is a little bit off, but I mean, still, they should have kept the Scottish accent. Dropping the Scottish accent is the main thing that killed Gobber in this show.
Yeah.
Because he didn't... The whole thing, dropping the Viking thing really kills that movie.
Yeah. Who voiced him in the new one? It's the guy from the Shaun of the Dead. It's like the best friend is his name, isn't it? What's his name? Ryan.
Was it?
I think it was.
Do you know his last name? His title. So you have Stoic the Vast. His name is Gobber the Belch. Did you know that?
No.
I just learned that right now, and he makes his character way better. It's Nick Frost. So yeah.
Nick Frost. Okay, yeah.
So I mean, he didn't do a bad job.
He did.
As the character, he did not do a bad job. As the accent and the direction that he was given, I think it was bad.
Horrible.
Because it's the same with like Astrid when she's on the cliff, which should have been a tree.
Should have been a tree.
It made more sense for it to be on the tree, that she's just hanging there, vibing, right? Also, it makes more sense that like he lifts up, right? But Astrid sounded perfect in that. Looked great. Everything was good.
No, she did not look great.
She needed the blonde hair.
No. Well, yes, she needed the blonde hair. She's the wrong race.
And the race. Honestly, if they just gone with the blonde hair, it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Because she's very light skinned, and I don't think that was like a key point of the character. I think that for the direction that they were going, they did a very good job casting her. The direction was just bad.
Yeah, so...
I don't think it was a race-related casting in this particular instance.
No.
You notice a lot of it in modern movies. That's just how it kind of is right now. It's fading away very quickly as those movies continue to flop. But in this case, I don't think it was race-motivated. I think it was just... She did a good job. If she'd said this time for sure, right? Like, she had it already there. The words they gave her just weren't quite right.
That's fair.
There's several moments where she sounded exactly like Astrid,
Mm-hmm.
and it would have been fine if all they missed was the blonde hair there. You could have done the race even. Like, sure, the dropping the Viking things is weird. The blonde hair mattered a lot for a lot of the flowy scenes,
Yes.
but on the other hand, Stoic the Vast.
On the other hand, the one returning character, voice actor, Gerard Butler.
For sure. Gerard Butler deserves the Academy Award, and I've not seen another movie this year where someone actually just does do a good job.
Right.
Other than maybe Yelena in the Thunderbolts movie.
She did good.
Because she did a good job. The direction and the script was kind of ass.
Mm-hmm.
But Florence Pugh, as an actor, is a very good actor.
Mm-hmm.
And so is the Red Guardian guy. He's a pretty good actor as well.
Yeah.
But the movie Thunderbolts was not a good movie because of script, direction, and just overall tone.
Right.
Like, not a very good movie. How to Train Your Dragon just dropped the things, so it never had the chance to be the good movie.
It's not even that they dropped it, it's that they removed it.
True.
If they had
Dropped
just one for one copied and pasted the original How to Train Your Dragon with cameras, it would have been perfect.
Well, some of the additions were good.
Okay.
Name
Which ones?
specifically
I have a list of everything that I thought was good.
the father interaction between
Snotlout?
Snotlout and his father.
Snotlout having a dad. Okay.
Well, he always did. But them introducing that Snotlout's father is like the left-hand man of Stoic, while Galbert's the right hand, and his dad does not care. It's so funny. Like, I actually really love those little scenes, because they're just moments, right?
Don't talk to me in public.
Yeah. Genius.
Yeah.
And then, we also get that character development for, the kids as well then, because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because you have the fire brigade, and then you have Hiccup, and they have a similar kind of story arc. It's just much lower, because Hiccup trains the dragon, and now his dad's proud of him. But he has the same arc, basically.
Right.
Which, as a small addition, it is the same arc. But it was very well done in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, he puts his hand on his shoulder. He doesn't say anything.
Right.
He just hand on the shoulder, mild acknowledgement of praise. Like, you did good.
Okay.
I liked those little scenes. The addition of the scene where Astrid is scolding Hiccup in after dinner, instead of just read it and leaving like she was supposed to. That was a silly addition. That felt like preaching.
That was horrible. That's one of the worst. Let me see. That's on here on one of my bad.
I'll give that a more of the
library scene.
The more of the modern audience type thing, where they're preaching because they are better, right?
Well, and you made this comment to me back when we first were analyzing it in the parking lot afterwards. You were like, "There's no coming back from that."
Yeah.
She looks at Hiccup and says, "I'm coming for your house."
Well, in a roundabout way, she will get it eventually.
Right.
But
why?
She's more of an asshole and just an unlikable character in the live action.
Yep.
Because in the main one, it's not a I'm against Hiccup. It's more of a why aren't you with us situation.
It's more of a she's trying to be strong for the village because she's the only one. She's I have to carry this team.
Yeah.
Right.
And then, but Hiccup doesn't fit that vibe.
Right.
He never displays that sort of action. His characteristics and the way that he behaves is very different to everyone else. Even the fire brigade, they're just normal, right?
Right.
They're doing their thing. They're worse versions of their parents. They're worse versions of the Vikings. But they're still Vikings. They're just in training still. Hiccup is not that boy, right? Sorry. I had to hit him with
Even
that.
you do that accent better.
But changing it from the Vikings, adding those little scenes that didn't need, because honestly, the best way to explain multi-race was I want to be able to have whoever I want, however I want.
Mm-hmm.
They're all from different places in the world, and they've come to hunt dragons. Pretty badass.
Right.
Still should be Vikings.
Still.
Even if they're different colors. You come from this place, far away, still Viking. Call them Vikings.
Well, you know what's interesting about that? So, that was one of the things I noted in the first watch through. I'm like,
they got rid of the whole "I am a Viking" thing, right? And it seems like they didn't talk about it. They did. They did use the word Viking, but only in really specific places.
Oh, okay. So I missed it the first time through then.
Yeah, but it's so weird that they cut it out of, like, the important scenes, like where Hiccup is standing over the downed Night Fury at that point. He's like, "I am a Viking." They cut that out. And it was like, why did you not use the word Viking there? Let's see, where was it?
Also, dragon training, they call it, like,
the Trial of Flame.
Very silly.
Very silly.
Honestly, it sounds better on live action, calling it the Trial of Flame. But the...
winning it and getting called Top Slayer?
Very, very cartoonish. Which is saying something coming from a cartoon.
Right.
Right. And also, I liked the way, if they kept it the Dragon Manual, or instead of calling it whatever, right?
Yeah.
Did you write it down what they called it? They called it something different, and it just felt off. It was like the Book of Dragons. No, that's not right.
No, because that's the actual...
The Dragon Manual.
No, they call it something else.
Everything
keep going.
we know about everything we know of, right?
I forget what they call it. I just have that it's not the Dragon Manual anymore.
It's not the Dragon Manual.
It's not.
But realistically, I liked the way that they like displayed it. They had it locked up almost, like it's buried in rock. Like they're not out. They're not in a wooden structure. They're not even outside. They're in the cave, basically, right?
Right.
So it is far enough away from things that are flammable to be safe from the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
And the way that it's all locked up, and also like being able to integrate they're all from different places in the world and have come here to hunt dragons.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to, like, this is all of our knowledge that we've all accumulated. That's really cool still, right? As a small addition. But you didn't need to do it. It was cool. But calling it something different was a little bit weird.
Yeah. And that's how bad it was. We can't even remember it. But
Unfortunately.
there's another line I actually wrote down in regards to the library scene. When Astrid is yelling at Hiccup, she says, "I come from nothing." As a part of her monologue, she's yelling at Hiccup. She's like, "I come from nothing. It must be nice having this big house you got for free. I come from nothing." Why? Why, like, what reason does that line serve other than just look at how cool I am, I built myself up?
That whole scene reeks of modern audience.
Yes.
It's an addition because the studio felt like they needed to add it. It does not serve fans. It does not serve the actual moviegoers. Because the modern audience doesn't go see movies, they don't buy video games, they don't read books or manga, they just complain on Twitter. Right? They don't even complain on podcasts. They only complain on the Twitter.
Right.
They don't even call it Twitter anymore. They had to call it something else to get people to move away from it.
Yeah.
Now they complain on Blue Sky. Right? But the modern audience isn't going to see movies. They're not actually spending the money. They might pirate it. But even that's a lot of effort for them. They're not doing it.
Right.
So by adding little scenes like that, I say little. It was like 4 minutes, right? Two and a half?
Yeah.
So even at 2 minutes, it's still a very long scene that is very preachy and very modern audience. And it detracts from their character growth quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because, like, it is weeks of the dragon training, right? It's not just overnight. Like, obviously you don't see all of it. And that's why they have the
montage.
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, right?
Uh-huh.
And that plays, and they cut out the scene of them sneaking through the village.
Yes.
You mentioned that.
Yes.
I noticed that during our first viewing. It's like, hold on. Kind of like, it's a very funny little moment where he just...
You're acting weird. Well, weirder.
Right? Very funny.
Right.
Very funny. Also, it shows that, like, she isn't hate Hiccup particularly. It's just that he isn't doing the things. So it's not even an opponent thing. It's just I'm doing this for the village, and you're not.
And you're weird.
What's going on? You're
right.
weird. But also, like, him getting dragged through the stall, and then, like, just escaping. His little moments, right? Like, he needs to fix a thing, but it's kind of like the Iron Man scenes, where he fixes things as he goes through.
Right.
He encounters an issue, and he fixes it. That's what the See You Tomorrow is, right? He figures out all of the issues and all of the hiccups that they have as a bond, as a duo. Like, whether that's the eels the grass that makes them like very ticklish, right?
Well, so that was another thing. If you noticed in the live action, they didn't have it where it was this grass that they really liked. It was just it made them sneeze. Which is one of the funnier scenes. That was one of the scenes I had on my good, was Toothless sneezing. That was funny.
Very good. It could have been grass, it could have been a little bit, I mean, it's kind of a combination. It's more like the particles. It's like not dandelions, what are they called? Like the little puff weeds. Basically.
Yeah.
But that's basically all it is. Simple little thing. Change it to be that instead of the grass. Very fair. It looks better as grass on the cartoon.
Yeah.
Because you can't just some dust on a cartoon. That takes a lot of processing power, and they were already killing computers just rendering Toothless. Right? So you have to move towards something that works, and for them that worked. Right? Animating Toothless was already a huge deal. Why animate more things? So changing into dust, and also the sneezing was funny. Let me do that. The very simple addition of the test drive edition that they made was not good, personally.
Yes.
The slow motion scene, he catches it, and that's the reason he falls off? No good. Because in the original, when he goes to catch it, he doesn't. And that's why he falls off.
Correct.
Because he's going after it.
Correct.
Not because he's already caught it. And that little change.
So you're close. What happens in the original is it flies off and he yells stop. He manages to catch it, and then they start falling because he told Toothless to stop. In the live action, what happens is he loses
stop,
it.
Though, does he?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah. Okay.
In the animated, he yells stop, and Toothless stops so that he can catch it, and then the hooks come off and they fall down. In the live action, it flies off and it goes completely gone, like it's completely vanished. Then he yells stop. Then they start falling apart. And then he just manages to catch it on the way down during the slow-mo scene, and then they go back into trying to tumble together, and that's when the music kicks back in. That entire scene is wrong. There's a whole piece of Toothless there that's missing from the live action, because as a part of them falling, there's this really funny scene where Toothless is spinning out of control, and Hiccup's like, you gotta kind of angle yourself, you gotta, right? And he accidentally smacks him in the face, and you can see the panic on Toothless's eyes. He's like trying to figure out how to fly without a wing, and he's spinning in circles. He doesn't have that.
Because he never spins in circles.
He doesn't spin in circles. He just falls. And then you miss that whole characterization, and it's like, ah!
And then at the end of it as well, though, the neglect for the fireball that completely wipes Hiccup's eyelashes just entirely off his face. Funny to see him, after they're eating. But then also, you get to see the aftermath of them, and they're sat, and they do the not-so-fireproof scene. That
is the most important scene to defeating the final boss.
You can't have the final boss without having that, and they ignored it for some reason, because they could have just made it 2 minutes longer, and it would have been fine. They could have made it a 45-second, just like... That was great.
Not so fireproof on the inside.
I don't even think that scene's 90 seconds. I'm going to be honest with you. The duration of that scene does so much for what it is, and then, he has the knowledge. It's the whole point of the See You Tomorrow and then Test Drive is the knowledge learning phase. It's as the part of the hero's journey. It's the gathering.
Well, and the other thing too is that scene where they're sitting on the island illuminates 2 big things. Number 1, up until this point, Hiccup has only ever been with Toothless as a dragon, and Toothless is good. He behaves. He's friendly. He doesn't know that for any other dragon.
But then he sees that
he meets the terrible terrors, and it cuddles up to it. So there's 2 important lines that come from that.
He gives them a fish, though.
Yes.
That's what...
Number 1, it's not so fireproof on the inside. Foreshadowing. Number 2 is everything we know about you guys is wrong. That's when he makes that line. And that's not in...
He doesn't say that at all, does he?
He doesn't! So he goes into the monstrous nightmare fight at the end of the dragon training, expecting that the monstrous nightmare will behave just like Toothless.
Without having experienced other dragons behaving
Other dragons
behave.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They removed...
That's an integral scene that is just vacant, missing entirely. It's like I said, it's 90 seconds. It's
How do you miss that though? Like, as if you're a director and you're storyboarding this, and you're like, okay, here are like the scenes we cannot get rid of.
Well, isn't the director the same guy still?
I think so.
That's what I thought. I thought it was him. I thought it was the director's the same, and Stoic the Bass was the same, and John Powell does
Did
the
the
music still. There's only some additions, but he did redo the whole thing.
Right.
It's just the same, but it's not a remaster, it's a redo.
Right.
Because a lot of it is the same, but there are the little additions that he's made. Because, like, the scene at the end of like, we're gonna go hunt the dragons, right? Mm-hmm. That, like, segment while all of the villagers are in the town hall, like, that's a little bit different. So the music behaves a little bit differently.
Right.
Because Gobber doesn't have the trolls exist. They steal your socks.
Trolls exist. They steal your socks.
Right, they got rid of that.
Only the left ones.
So
what's with that? How do you get rid of that line? It's iconic.
They got rid of half the funny lines and they kept the other half, so they don't fit. It's very silly. But the music does behave there differently. And then, of course, for Test Drive, it's slightly longer because of the additions of the slow-mo scenes.
Yep.
For the most part, Test Drive does look and sound good. Right?
Good.
After the slow-mo part.
No, because it's way more chaotic with the camera. It feels more
true,
like it's a shaky cam.
I'll give you that. It does sound just as good, but I think that's because that is more of that kind of remaster style that he was going for. I mean, it is still John Powell's masterpiece.
Right.
As a song, as a title piece, Test Drive is, like, not, what's the word? It means masterpiece, but like in Latin, right? It's like
magnum opus.
Test Drive is a magnum opus piece, in my opinion.
Yes.
I've never heard anything quite like it. Still, even right. Maybe Portals by Alan Silvestri from Avengers Endgame, because that's more of a cultural cumulative event, though.
Right.
And if you don't have the nostalgia, if you don't have the experience, if you don't have the knowledge, it doesn't fit quite as well.
Right.
But as a piece, it is very powerful still.
Right.
I wouldn't say that's particular his magnum opus, whereas like, what's his name for the Interstellar, right?
Yeah.
Like that has as well Time from Inception. Like he has a couple of those. Hans Zimmer, right? He has some crazy pieces that like I would be like, fair enough, right?
Right.
But then, as Test Drive goes, the addition of that segment is just too much addition.
It's wrong.
They could have just kept it as is, like you said. We've said this for a lot of it. There are some small additions that have been good. But for the most part, they could have just kept it as is, 1-to-1, and it would have been fine.
Right. Well, and that's what's so weird is like, when you're watching the original, there's a better pacing to it. You get the feeling that they're making progress through the rocks. In the live action, it just feels like they keep flying through rocks. Like, where did all these rocks come from? Like, it's
we've already
there's no
experienced
sense
the
of
rocks
scale.
as well,
right? As
in
opposed
some
to
of the other scenes,
as opposed to being the first time that they're going through the rocks, which is what happens in the animated one. It's just weird.
The dropping of the scene where he is sneaking through the village because he can't unhook, because they're flying around and he can't unhook now because they fell. Right? It's just little things.
Hold on. Why does that scene this just hit me as you said that? Why does the scene of Hiccup getting stuck in the saddle matter?
Because he adjusts it so he can fall out later.
He adjusts the hooks.
But he doesn't have that scene in this one.
So he just comes out of the hooks.
Well, no, because the hooks never start that way.
Right.
They always start as more of that kind of like question mark shape.
Yeah.
They're not actually hooks.
Oh my gosh.
Because when he's hooked in initially, he has to change that. That's why they sneak through the village.
That's why he changes
But they dropped it, so it's not there.
Oh
so
my
it's just
gosh.
another one of those, the foreshadowing build-up moments doesn't work because it's not there.
That's crazy. Look at that. That's attention to detail in the original. That is...
Well, he changes it, yeah. I mean, it's the Iron Man sequence, right? He's building up his Like, it's not his suit this time that he's building up and fixing the changes.
Right.
But it's, they get stronger as a duo as well. It's not just Hiccup making changes to Toothless. It goes both ways.
Right.
I think one of my least favorite things was the sheep. They felt sad. At the beginning, the sheep just getting yoinked for free, and then the sheep moving over to take his place is such a
there's
funny
the humor.
Yeah, but like they're now just it's a fake sheep.
Mm-hmm.
It's like design that's like a trap almost, and all of the sheep are in. Okay, but they found the sheep. They put the sheep in there after the attack starts.
Right.
If you notice in the live action, you can kind of see it happen almost. Like it's not direct, but it's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the live action, they started there. They
Yeah.
knew the attack was coming.
Yeah.
How? Why? Why didn't they already have the beacons up if they knew the attack was coming? Why would the sheep be... The sheep shouldn't just be in the pen. That's animal cruelty.
Right.
We know better.
Oh my gosh, dude.
Just one little thing like that.
That's, yeah.
Waiting for the second one, the live action remake, when they're playing the sheep capture the flag or whatever.
Right.
How's that gonna work? They'll probably just remove it. Damn it.
They probably will.
If they ever make a second one, that's the thing. I was like, why would you make, for me, for these, as a live action class of movie?
Mm-hmm.
The question is, why do we remake live action movies? And the answer is, as Mr. Krabs says, money. Right? So, if it makes them good money, it'll probably be fine.
Mm-hmm.
They'll probably make a second one.
Mm-hmm.
Because they think it'll make them more money.
Yep. It also renews their length on the copyright.
Oh yeah, it sets up another 75 years or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So even though it's only been 15
15 years, they now get it. They get it for another 15 years.
75.
Well, 75 years
From
plus the death of the creator, but yeah. So they just get to renew the copyright, which means they own the intellectual property longer.
That's why they did like Aladdin and they like the Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and that's why they've been doing a lot of that.
I'm willing to bet almost entirely that's where all the math comes from. Because adding 15 years of owning the copyright for How to Train Your Dragon is probably worth $200 million, or however much it costs, regardless of whether the tickets sell, regardless of whether the movie sells or flops, regardless of any of that. 15 years of owning this IP is probably worth $200 million. I'm willing to bet that's why they're doing
you're
live
saying
actions.
it's worth like. So you're saying it's worth like $2+ million or $20+ million a year
in merch?
And
absolutely. I mean, think about it. They
I'll
just
give you
built a roller coaster with this IP.
True. The DreamWorks land or whatever is a quite cool area actually though.
Yeah.
So I'll give you that.
Oh my god.
Maybe it is like, hey, we think that this extra 15 years that we get, but that pushes that at that point when they're pushing into like the 21s.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even in the starting with the 2000s anymore. That's 70 years away at this point, right? Is How to Train Your Dragon relevant enough to be worth $200 million for the extra 15 years in 70 years? Like, do they really expect at 2080 when they lose their IP, or 2090 or whatever,
mm-hmm.
right? If when they lose their IP in 50, 60 years from now,
mm-hmm.
do they expect 15 more years after that? Like, you're into, like I said, the 2100s at least for IP on that.
Well, think about Mickey Mouse, right?
True, Mickey Mouse has been around since the 40s.
He's public
early 50s.
domain now, right? If you'd asked back then, is Mickey going to be relevant in 70 years? You'd be like, no, they'll have way cooler stuff. Guess what? They've made TV shows. They keep remaking things. There's no new... absolutely it's going to be worth in 75 years.
Maybe.
That roller coaster they built is going to last at least 40.
Or longer if they maintain it correctly.
Right? And if they start getting the little nightlight robots with the Boston Dynamics things they're working with. You seen that?
No, I've not.
They're making animatronic dragons. Like, with robot, like skeletons inside of them. Like Five Nights at Freddy's. And they walk around the resort at the Universal Studios.
So, like the Megatron kind of style things?
Yeah.
Or like the dinosaurs from Jurassic Park, like fully robot size?
Yes, fully robot size, and there's actual skeletons inside of them, and they're working with Boston Robotics to program them, so they actually behave like little Night Furies and Like,
I think it'd be like, it's almost like a replacement to like live action actors.
Yeah.
Like for because you know how like Disneyland, Disney World, and all that, they have like the characters, and if you're very clever and careful, you can find multiple of the same character because it's just actors playing that character. You just replace them with robots. It's probably cheaper over their lifespan.
well, and if you don't think I'm going to try and steal one at some point, you're crazy.
You shouldn't say that on the podcast.
I'll say it on a podcast. I will steal one of the How to Train Your Dragon Night Fury robots.
That's fair, but completely off topic and on a tangent. Ethan from like H4, E4, whatever, fucking, you know, on YouTube there's Ethan Klein.
Yeah.
He's suing several Twitch creators for blatantly saying I'm stealing your content because he made like a 2-hour video. And the video's not very good. It's a trap. So that he knew that they would not resist watching this particular video in its entirety without pausing, without commentary, smoking the entire time. They get up to go to use the bathroom and it's still playing. So he's suing them for copyright infringement and he applied for the copyright before he published the video. Even he was ready for it's a trap. And in the video that he explains why he's suing them, he's like, yeah, and I'm not suing Tectone or Asmongold because they actually gave commentary and paused the video if they needed to go. And like, I don't. He's like, this isn't a call out for the reaction content community. It's a call out for these 3 dumbasses who blatantly said they're stealing my content. So now I have reason to sue them. It's like, fair enough. It's like, you can't say it live. Cut it out. Gone.
Nah. One thing I will say, going back to the opening scene for How to Train Your Dragon, outside of the fact that they did everything wrong, the pacing is wrong, they don't have the part where Hiccup talks about his name, he explains that Vikings believe in ugly names to ward off gnomes and trolls. Outside of that...
That's why Fish Legs is not loud.
Rough Nut... yeah, exactly.
Astrid's the only normal one.
Right, exactly. And that's... because she doesn't need to ward off gnomes and trolls with an ugly name. But
her parents were already strong.
Do you remember in the animated How to Train Your Dragon when there's the boy on the moon and he flips and there's a shadow in the background and you can see the Night Fury? It's not there.
Because it blocks out the stars.
It's not there.
If they'd done that, that would have been really smart, honestly. Because the additional line of Hiccup saying, it's like, no one's ever seen one.
Or live to tell the tale. Right.
And, but also, like, after he shoots down Toothless, he goes, I got a knife here. It's like, no one's ever seen one, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, well, no, but if you squint, you can see it. Like, it
blocks the stars. Yeah.
If they'd had that as a tiny scene at the beginning, like they had in the cartoon, that additional line would have been great.
It would have already been there. It's right there.
Perfect.
He's just not there.
And that explains why he's black, though, as well. Because all of the dragons are, like, quite brightly colored, actually, for the most part.
Yes.
Like especially in the live action, their colors look really good. The way that the Gronko looks is good. The Terrible Terrors, I love them. They're tiny and cute.
They don't lick their eyeball, though. They don't do the lick the eyeball thing, so they're not as cute.
Okay. That's fair.
They're good, but they're not terrible.
The Monstrous Nightmare does look really good.
The Monstrous Nightmare is the only dragon, I think... no, there's 2 dragons I think were an upgrade. The Red Death is the other...
The Monstrous Nightmare is a huge upgrade, and the Red Death is a cataclysmic upgrade.
It's
that
fantastic.
Boy is cracked.
Very well done.
Oh, yeah. The subtraction of the... I don't know, they did say it, but it was just... They said it in a different place. They reordered some of the dialogue for the Red Death fight. It's like, this thing doesn't have a blind spot. They said that in a different place.
Yep.
A little bit later in the scene. And also, I've lost power on the Gronko.
I've lost power on the Gronko, yep.
That fat kid from the Deadpool movies. He would have been perfect to say that. Honestly, casting him, great job. Snotlout, also good casting. Rough Nut and Tough Nut, not so much. On the other hand, though, if they kept all of their dialogue, I think it actually would have been fine, because having them so different and still they're twins and nobody can tell them apart, that would be so funny.
Yes.
Because they do not look the same.
Right.
So that would be funny. But a lot of the comedy comes from they do look exactly the same in the cartoon. The only difference is a mild jawline, and that's it. And that's why it's funny, is because they are kind of the same.
Well, and this is what, like you were talking about with the tone earlier. It's like they removed half the jokes. The twins are not near. They don't. All of their banter is gone.
Oh yeah. So you miss a lot of the character development that they do have.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not like character development per se, but their jokes evolve throughout the show.
Right.
And because they grow as people as well.
Well, and they feel like siblings. Like they're fighting over the shield. Pick that shield. It has flowers on it. Girls like flowers. Then she hits it. Oops.
Oh, this one has blood.
Noops. Now this one has blood on it. Right. That's completely gone.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
And having her so much larger than him would have worked perfectly for that scene.
Yes.
Especially because like she's clearly not just larger like fat wise, but she's also like clearly built in more muscle as well.
Yes.
So
bonk. Oops. Now this one has blood on it.
That would have been funny.
Or like one of the other lines that they cut was like when they're first starting training and Gobber shouts out, he's like, "What's the first thing you're going to need?" And there's 3 answers. Do you remember what they are? A doctor, +5 speed, a shield.
Right, a shield.
Those are the 3 answers that you're supposed to give.
+5 shield, or +5
+5 speed.
would have been great from him.
Yes.
Like, that actually was good casting.
Yes.
I'll give them that. Right,
He just didn't say the line.
a doctor.
A doctor. Where is that line?
Okay, but excuse me, barmaid was also removed.
Oh my!
So
don't even get
Hiccup lost most
started.
I'd say about half of the half that we lost was Hiccup's comedy.
Yeah.
And about 70% of the remaining, so is the twins, and then the other 20%, 30% or so of the remaining half that we lost
Is Gobber.
Is kind of spread across everyone, but Gobber as well. Just like I knew what I'd become. Just like, but Hiccup, he's out searching for trolls.
Trolls exist. They steal your socks. Well, and there's a bunch of comments Gobber makes in the animated version that aren't in the live action one.
True.
Like after the meeting where they're done, like, I'm gonna go one more search before the ice sets in, right? Gobber stands up and he goes, "Hey, I'll pack my undies." That's just not in there. Or at the end when they're on the island and Stoic stares and he says, when we crack open this mountain, all hell is gonna break loose. And then Gobber from the side goes,
my undies.
"In my undies? Good thing I brought extras." Where is that line?
The dap up that they do though, before they're like, it's like, I can make that double, right?
Yeah,
like,
I can double that time.
I'll double that does work for them. Like, a lot of that's because Stoic's there.
Okay, but did you notice in that scene, in the animated movie, Stoic picks up one of those things from the ground and hucks it at it so hard it knocks it sideways. And that's showing how cool Stoic... They cut that out. It's just him shooting a catapult.
Stoic bashed his head on a rock and it broke.
Yes.
He could...
Crush mountains, level forest, 10 seats!
Right, Gobber is lesser than Stoic.
Yes.
But all of the male Vikings across the board, and the females, it's not gender specific. The adult Vikings are cracked.
Yeah.
Like, actually. Like, they just punch dragons. Like, sure, they have axes and shit, but that's more for show. They actually just beat the shit out of them 1-to-1.
That's one of the other scenes I said was good.
Gobber fighting, and as well Stoic fighting.
Stoic fighting the monstrous nightmare in the start of the movie.
I like that.
Way cooler. He headbutts the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Peak.
Gerard Butler, right?
Gerard Butler.
He knew what was going on with Stoic. He said, hey, what if I
headbutt the dragon?
Because we know, and is explained later as well, right? In the town hall scene after they all leave, and he's talking to Gobber, he does say, it's like, when I was a boy, my father told me to hit my head.
Bang my head against the rock, and I did it.
You know
I
what
thought
happened?
he was crazy, but I didn't question him.
You know what happened?
You got a headache.
No, the rock split in two. Like, so having that's like a, right? He knows. So he does it, he goes for it, and it works. Every time he's on screen, it works.
Yes.
Every time he's not on screen, there's something going on that isn't quite right.
I will say the only scene I didn't like with Gerard Butler and the new Stoic is the new scene they added when they're doing the Diversity Viking banquet. They're all standing in the hall, and Stoic is walking around. He's like, your tribe came from the...
Well, no. Honestly, that's fine. But him the carelessness in which the writers have added him just straight up making fun of the people as well, because that's not something.
The crippled lady who lost her leg, and he's like, "But you won." Oh no! Yes, you did.
He wouldn't have done that.
Right.
That's not something Stoic would do, and you see it especially in the second one, like a chief's first duty is to his people.
Right.
And he knows everyone and what they're doing, and he wants to know how their day is going. He wants to know how he can help them.
Exactly.
And Stoic has always been the good guy. He never insults anyone. He doesn't even insult Hiccup. He just wants Hiccup to be like him.
Yeah.
He's not mad about Hiccup. He's not mean to Hiccup. He's not insulting Hiccup because he's worse or because he needs to change. He just wants Hiccup to be.
They extended the scene in the house where Stoic tells Hiccup, like, you're doing your dragon training. They extended it.
I didn't like it.
For no reason. Why?
It's time you learn to fight dragons. While Hiccup says,
I don't want to fight dragons.
They say it at the same time. They say, what? What? You first.
No, you go first.
That's not in there. They dropped it, and that's not okay, because that shows a lot of how neither of them are disrespecting each other particularly.
Right.
It's not I'm better than you because I'm your father. It's I want you to be better because you're my son.
You get your wish. This is his dad letting him, okay. You get your wish.
You can do it.
Dragon training. You start in the morning.
Also,
oh man, I should have gone first.
Jay Baruchel as Hiccup, the sing-songy way that he speaks in every movie he's in,
yes,
really works for Hiccup, because a lot of that is built-in character as well. You see that flowy, the comedy flows more because of the sing-songy voice, and then as well though, the emotion is much more there, because the moment that sing-songy voice stops, you can really feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And as well, one of the simple, silly little things that they could have added, but they dropped it in the live action. They dropped so much. Drop the axe. Right? He sinks into it.
Yes!
He does not in the live action.
Right!
The axe is much more wieldable. He's not lugging it around in
Doesn't
the live
even
action.
hit the ground in the animated?
Just about, yeah.
It just about hits the
He
ground.
barely catches.
Yeah!
Because it's a drop.
Right.
But
you'll need this.
Boom.
Drop.
But in the live action, it's still dropped into his hands, but he doesn't even sink almost.
Right.
And then he's able to wield it almost fine. It takes both hands. He's not able to wield it without the shield. But in the cartoon, he's barely able to read.
Right.
He cannot carry this axe. It is too big for him. But he doesn't need to grow into it. That's kind of the point of that particular axe, is that he's not going to grow into it. He doesn't need to. Stoic wants him to. That's why the axe is bigger.
Right.
And that's a little character development, right? Development's not the right word, but it's a character trait almost of Stoic expects him to grow into the axe. That's why it's so much bigger.
Right.
And that's an unspoken, entirely dialogue-less way to convey an intent.
Mm-hmm.
Just by having the axe be too big for him to even carry.
Well, and then there's the other thing, when Stoic is giving him the pep talk, he says, you walk like us, he picks up the axe, you talk like us, you think, and he picks his shoulders up and stands him up straight. That doesn't exist in the live action.
And then as soon as he lets go, though, the axe, and he sinks back in.
Yes.
Hiccup is Hiccup, and he's not going to change.
Right. Exactly, and all of that is missing.
Mm-hmm.
It's even done from the wrong angle, too. The camera focuses on Hiccup over Stoic's shoulders with the axe. And this one, it's over Hiccup's shoulders looking at Stoic in the live action. And it's just weird.
Later on, though, the scene with the breast hat, that was just worse as well. Stoic does a great job in it. The conveying of emotions of the lost mother is very good. Mm-hmm. But then just half her breastplate matching set. He doesn't say that, does he?
I don't.
I think it just says it's his mother's, right?
Yeah.
I'd have to watch it again for me to be certain. But I feel like in the cartoon, Hiccup's got his hands on it, and he says half her breastplate. He's like, excuse me.
That is in there a little.
That is.
It's
a lot less.
Yes.
Some of that's the exaggerated cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
But also some of it's that it's not quite as strong in the live action, anyways.
Right.
But Gerard Butler.
Just Gerard Butler.
That man, like I said, I keep saying that he deserves the awards for however they go about it. I don't know what the awards are for like movies anymore at this point. I've not kept up with it long enough to remember anymore. But he deserves those. And the scene of him, it's like, you're not my son. Like, he does that very well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's some direction and some writing, like, dialogue changes for the live action from the cartoon. But he still handles that so well. The door not slamming...
The door not slamming so hard that it opens back up onto the light inside on Hiccup, that's a shame.
Yeah.
The line delivery's perfect.
Yeah. The ready the ships. Like,
perfect.
Like, his voice almost cracks, and you can tell.
Yes.
But, you know, like, Gerard Butler handling that, like, barrel, like, the voice crack is so minimal, but it's there and noticeable to us, the audience, because we can see him.
Mm-hmm.
Very good.
Yes. Except that he doesn't slam the door hard enough.
Well, some of that's a direction thing.
It's a direction thing.
Some of that also might be a practical thing.
Well,
like, maybe, like, he did slam the door, like...
I'm not saying Gerard Butler didn't slam the door. I'm saying the director chose to not have the door swing open.
But so vast is as wide as Hiccup is tall. So, like, he could have...
Man, headbutt a dragon. He can slam the door however freaking hard he wants.
Yeah. It would have been good. It is a little bit different, and I don't know how... I don't think it's specifically worse, but I think the difference is enough that, like, as a scene, it does get, like, 1 or 2% off. But as a scene, though, Hiccup's character is slightly worse as well in the way that he's delivering lines.
Mm-hmm.
Some of that's because it's different. But Hiccup dropping the sing-song voice almost as the conversation progresses, that is never there to begin with in the live action, does suffer a little bit then because of that.
Right.
Because as the conversation between them progresses in that particular scene, the sing-song leaves entirely.
Yeah.
He's full, like, he talks in the same way that Stoic does.
For once in your life, would you please just listen to me?
Yeah, it's not
that desperation is not there.
The desperation is crazy felt.
In the animated.
For sure. But you don't really get that as much. Some of that's because he's not been sing-songing the entire time, so he has not changed the way that he's speaking.
Right.
He's not changed his tone or his his voice at all, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, changing your voice can do a crazy amount to how something feels, right? Especially, like, when Stoic gives that mild voice crack while he says ready the ships, right? Mm-hmm. It's just a little bit, but it's enough that we know.
Well, it's funny you say that, because if you remember, and I'm everyone who knows How to Train Your Dragon knows this trivia fact. When Hiccup and Toothless are very first meeting each other, and Hiccup sticks his hand out, Toothless goes forward and then pulls back and then goes in. There's that half a millisecond hesitation. That was an animation glitch. That was a glitch in the animation software. Mm-hmm. That was not supposed to happen, but the director said, whoa, what was that? And they're like, that's a glitch, so keep that.
Because
that is a minute detail, half a millisecond, and it made the scene.
Because it shows his hesitation, but then his acceptance.
Yes.
Because he's clearly accepting and hesitating at the same time, but his acceptance wins out, so he goes for it. In the live action, doesn't Hiccup put his hand on it?
No, Hiccup,
Okay.
it happens the same way.
Okay.
Trust me, I was watching that scene to make sure they got the hesitation.
I just felt like they kind of met in the middle almost. I don't feel like it was entirely Toothless.
There was a little hesitation on Toothless's side, and then they met. So yeah, it was good.
It didn't feel as impactful though, because if I didn't notice that it was crazy different, it can't really have been that different then.
Well, and that's the other. This is really what I wanted to like talk. This is why I wanted to do a podcast for this, because the movie itself is like a 3.5, the new one. The old one is a 5. And it's like, what is the difference in those 1.5 stars? And there's a couple of big scenes that miss.
You mean like so like a 10 out of 10?
Yeah.
5 out of 5 then, right? Okay.
Yes,
okay.
5 out of 5,
Just to clarify.
But the difference between the new one and the old one is all of the little details. All of the little details are what make the difference. Like, for example, there's the scene where Hiccup is watching Toothless, and he says, "Why don't you just fly away?" He doesn't say that in the new movie.
Why don't you just fly away?
And then he erases...
Looks a little bit harder, and he erases the tail.
That doesn't happen. That scene isn't there. Then you follow that up when Hiccup is in the forge.
Mm-hmm.
And he, after Gobber has just said, a downed dragon is a dead dragon, right? He goes to the forge. What's the first thing he does? He picks up a pen and he draws back in the tail.
Mm-hmm.
That scene doesn't exist. That scene isn't in the live action. He doesn't draw the tail. No! It just goes straight to him forging.
Cooked. We're cooked.
That's what I'm saying. It's all these, like, these little itty-bitty, like... Ugh.
You know what?
Or the fact...
That affects a lot. I'll give you that.
When Hiccup is sitting on the rock and they're in the lake and he's drawing in the sand. First of all, the sand drawing in the live action looks like dog doo-doo. It doesn't look like Toothless. And I get, it's live action, it's got to be in the sand. You can't even tell it's Toothless in the sand. Just gonna be straight up.
Well, in the cartoon, you can tell it's sand. It still looks kind of like Toothless because the thing that Hiccup's good at is drawing and forging.
Yes.
He's not good at the fighting stuff.
Right.
He's not. That's why he's like, maybe we don't need any more fighting Vikings. Maybe we need some
bread-making Vikings or a small home
He doesn't do the small home repair Viking.
Correct.
That's dropped entirely.
Correct.
Unfortunately. And as well, it's like, excuse me, barman.
Excuse me, I'm so mad they got rid of it. That is the line that I use as my trigger phrase to get me to speak in a Scottish accent.
Gone. Just reduced.
Just gone.
Also, on that same exact note, though, him leaving out the front in that scene
instead of out the back.
Instead of out the back.
Small detail.
Small detail, but him leaving out the back, going towards the area that he said, right? Because him leaving out the front, he needs to go around anyways, because we know which way they're going and which way he's pointed so far.
Yep.
He needs to go out the back of his house anyways.
Yep. Well, and it draws a funny contrast, because it's the whole in one ear, out the other. It pans the camera to show Gobber walking away as he's gone in the door, and then he cuts out the back. Gobber's still... Yeah, exactly.
And one ear, out the other.
Exactly. That doesn't happen in this, because they have to go out the same door.
Because they don't have a back door. Why don't they have a back door?
But what I was saying with the stick drawing scene, right? In the animated version, Toothless sees this, and he's kind of watching over the head. He does like a little purr, which isn't there. Then he stands up on two legs, bump, 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 does this funny walk off screen.
Well, I think in the live action, I think they dropped one of the characteristics of the animals that they were using. Because the How to Train Your Dragon cartoon, Toothless is modeled after a cat, a dog, a panther, and a human.
Yes.
Because he's much more like human emotion and like the way that he expresses his emotion facially too is very cat and dog like, but he definitely has like more of the human style, like the way that he's presenting his emotions, especially with the walking on two legs, right?
Yes.
I think they dropped like the human part of his like the way that he functioned, like moves around, because he pretty much doesn't do that. Like, he's mostly just cat, dog, and panther at that point.
Right, and like when he goes to sit, like after he spits out the fish...
He sat on four legs.
He sat on four legs. He didn't sit on...
He sits perfectly vertical with his head, like
yeah.
He looks so stupid.
Exactly.
But that's funny.
That's the point.
Because it's like when my dog goes to beg. That's what it looks like. It's the beg.
Yeah, he just sits there.
It's an inbuilt... Like, most dogs know how to beg. They sit up. They don't learn it from any other... They just kind of know. It's a built-in thing. As a thousands and thousands of years ago, dogs learned, specifically wolves at that point even, it's like, if I look cute enough, they just feed me.
They just feed me.
I don't even have to hunt. They just feed me. And then they take care of me too.
Right?
Dogs just know this now.
Yes.
Cats as well, but they do it differently. Right?
Yes.
But dogs have the puppy eyes that they can do. And we see... that in something like Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, where they just all know how to do it, except for that one stupid dog who like lives in the sock.
Yes.
But it's because he's never needed it. It's never been part of the things that he's learned, like, or needed, right? So he's never tried.
Right.
So he's not very good at it. But he knows of it. He just doesn't know how to do it. But that's because he's stupid. That's a different character thing. But all of them can do the puppy eyes.
Yes.
Toothless can do the fucking puppy eyes. And he does. So,
well, and so like I said, minor details. When Toothless is after Hiccup eats the fish, right? And he goes, and he smiles. Toothless fakes a smile. In the live action, it doesn't hit. It's not correct. It's just stiff. It doesn't. You can't tell he's imitating a smile. It just looks like he's like pulling his gums back. Whereas in the animated, it feels like he's actually trying to do a human smile.
yeah, because he's like 90% animal, 10% human in terms of the way that he's like animated, which is honestly quite smart because as an animation, you have your skeleton that is animated, and not every single bone is there because that's a pain in the ass, first of all, and second of all, computing power, third of all, just time. Why do you need to model every single bone in this man's body when you could just ignore most of them and do the ones that matter?
Right.
For like moving the bodies. So as an animation thing, giving him like a little bit of human really is not too terribly hard. But then you think about it, in the live action, he's still animated. He just looks better. It's 4K instead of 480.
Right. So why does he look stiff?
He doesn't look that stiff jumping around the house at the very end of the movie. He looks pretty good there, but like the way that he's jumping around, his face is still a little bit stiff.
The whole movie, he is not nearly as expressive.
The Monstrous Nightmare does have pretty good facial features still, but a little bit stiff there too. Maybe it's just the dragons' faces are a little bit more stiff in the live action.
They all are.
Yeah.
All of the animation is less, like, that's one of the fun things about Toothless is, like, you can always read his emotions.
His eyes, the way that his nose moves, and the way that his mouth moves gives a crazy amount. I figured it out literally just talking about it here. Do you know the reason why so many characters who wear helmets take their helmet off when it is disadvantageous? Because you can't see their face. They paid for these big name actors and they want you to see their face, and the excuse always is, oh, they can't emote if they're wearing only a helmet. The Mandalorian, Boba Fett from the original Star Wars, Darth Vader from the original Star Wars, right? Darth Sidious. You can't even see his face in the episode 1. It's just his mouth, right? You don't need the whole face for something to be emotive.
Right.
But I think that is probably one of the main reasons. They probably went with the, like, oh, you know, it has to be this way because that's what everyone's expecting.
Right.
It's like, the more you think about it, it's like, these are, like, huge studios that have immense amounts of people who work at them. Being able to convey explicit, like, those specific things might just be a little bit hard at a scale like that.
Right.
Right, because one of the biggest things, like in a video game terms, these huge studios are unable to adapt to current things that are happening in a quick enough manner for it to be worthwhile. Almost always. Think about how many battle royales we've had recently that have been, or hero shooters and ands that have
despite the fact
flopped,
yeah,
because the trends have moved away from that already.
Right.
But they started development on some, like Concord's development started 7 years ago, almost 8 at this point.
Right.
$400 million, 8 years of development. It's wild to think about. They started developing that game 8 years ago. That's Overwatch peak. You know where Overwatch is now? 10,000 sub 10,000 active players every day.
If that.
If that. Marvel Rivals quintuples it, if not, you know, what's the word for 10 times, like, every day in terms of players usually. Like, we've moved away from things and we've moved towards things. And I think as a studio, just the way that their faces are a little bit more stiff might just be because of animation time. They've probably been working on this movie for years, right? It's not like they produced it in 2 months and they've shit it out literally, right?
Right.
This is like definitely a passion project, right? DreamWorks is still a huge company, but as DreamWorks goes, they are still DreamWorks, I think, at their core.
I'm willing to bet that they started this live-action movie the second Disney announced their first live-action. What was the first live-action Disney? Was it Lion King?
No, it's been too long.
No, it was Aladdin.
It's been way too long. No, it was before Aladdin even. I thought there was one before it. It was either. I guess we can Google it. That's what phones are for.
Pull it up, Jamie.
Alrighty. Disney first.
Live action remake.
First live action remake. Well, technically.
Don't hit me with a technically. You know what I mean.
Well, Wikipedia has it as 101 Dalmatians, which was animated in 61 and then re-released in 1996.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
But here we have...
The modern era slop live action remakes.
So it looks like it might be Jungle Book.
Does that count?
Well, the Jungle Book was animated in 67, and I'm trying to figure out when the movie came out.
Let me make sure I'm checking off all the things we've gone over, because there's a lot.
Well, Alice in Wonderland live action came out in 2010.
Yes. Important scene.
Alice in... so technically, you could have like Cinderella, animated in 50, live action in 2015.
Okay.
You have the... Okay, it seems like it's mostly... like older movies for sure. Like, obviously. But you have Alice in Wonderland was really the first one. But, I mean, that's less of a live-action remake. Or it's a live-action remake. But remake's not the right word there because the stories are different. They're differently done. Their tones are different.
Right.
They've actually changed things and made it better. Right. It is a different... It's a similar story, but it's not the same story. It's not a one-to-one copy.
Right.
But Cinderella, that's the first real one, in my opinion. Came out in 1950, animated, and then was live action in 2015 from Disney. But then the first one that I would consider, as we are talking about it, as the live action remakes, is The Jungle Book.
Mm-hmm.
Came out in 2016.
Okay.
It was directed by Jon Favreau,
Mm-hmm.
right? Very good director. That's when they first started using the... like their scene area that they've been using for everything recently.
Mm-hmm.
It's that big. It's like 50 meters diameter or 50 meters radius. I'd have to look. It doesn't particularly matter. But it's that huge TV screen.
Yeah.
That is like 8,000 or 9,000 lumens. Like it's crazy bright, and then you run it on Unreal Engine 5 to be able to display active background so that the lighting's correct in the environment already. Right. It saves them a bunch of time and money. They build smaller sets because they're able to just game engine render more of the set.
Right.
You can really tell that they're using it in The Mandalorian and in the Boba Fett because they tend to be a little bit more stationary in terms of the way that they're moving in an individual scene. Like across multiple scenes, they'll move a lot, obviously.
Right.
But in an individual scene, if there's no cuts, you'll tell that they won't kind of leave that radius.
Right.
And that's the Jungle Book. And then you have Beauty and the Beast, which was the Harry Potter girl remake, right?
Uh-huh.
What's her name? It doesn't matter. But that came out in 2017. Apparently Christopher Robin, the Winnie the Pooh film, came out in 2018. But then Dumbo, starring the very short man, Danny DeVito. Dumbo came out in 2019. Mm-hmm. Then Aladdin also in 2019. The Lion King also in 2019. Mm-hmm. They have Maleficent listed here as a Sleeping Beauty thing. Came out in 2014. But Maleficent was actually just... it's the same story, but told in a different way. Mm-hmm. I don't consider it a remake per se, because it stars Angelina Jolie as the main character. Like, Maleficent's the main character, not the Sleeping Beauty, right? Like, that's the whole point, is that she changes, she's different. So we've had a lot of these live-action remakes, right? Like The Lion King, like I said, Lady and the Tramp, Mulan, Cruella, Pinocchio, The Little Mermaid, of course, everyone hated because they race-swapped the main character. And then, of course, the second Lion King, Snow White very recently, and then Lilo and Stitch also recently.
Yeah.
Both of which have done very poorly. Well, audience score-wise,
Poorly.
Lilo and Stitch did very poorly. Snow White didn't really make that much money. Lilo and Stitch is on track to make a crazy amount of money, and it has for some reason. But
Because Stitch.
it's a lot of it's the nostalgia of people go and see the movie, and it's so different, and it's not the same. It's way worse.
Way worse.
In our case, we're talking about these Disney remakes here. There's a lot of them actually, right? And they've been doing them for 20 years, 15 years, 15 years.
And this is DreamWorks' first one.
This is DreamWorks' first one, but what it is it's similar to our Disney remakes, but it's not quite all the way to a Disney remake.
Right.
Because they didn't add two or three scenes extra of just more, like, especially like...
They didn't just remove one of the main villains in Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, or like in the Aladdin movie, or in the Sleeping Beauty movie, they added whole songs that weren't in the originals.
Right.
But what How to Train Your Dragon has done is it's added little things here and there, or like kind of lengthened scenes, and for the most part, most of it works. But not all of it works.
It's mostly removing,
but
actually.
Because of the 50-50, we remove things so that we can add things. It's like, hold on. Our scales are balanced in time, but why? We could have just made it longer.
Yes.
Realistically, they should have just had it been longer and kept everything in. Because if they'd had the trolls exist, they steal your socks, 20 seconds of extra time. Obviously, your 20 seconds of extra time everywhere that they removed the little jokes will add up to several minutes over the course of the movie. But instead of having it be not quite 2 hours, just make it 2 hours and 10 minutes. 2 hours and 20 minutes. I'm sure that no one would care.
Right.
It's a little bit longer, so what? In terms of length as well, not doing Sticks and Stones at the end, that's a very silly, like, that's the ending song, but I've seen the
end credits song.
The end credits
Gone.
song.
Oh my gosh.
As a song, it worked very, very well for the movie. But they probably didn't want to pay the licensing fees. I bet you they probably needed to pay like more money to use it again or something.
Don't care.
I don't care.
Don't care. That, if you were going to remake How to Train Your Dragon,
It should have been...
you should have had Yonsei in the final credits, period.
Yes.
That shouldn't have even been like, oh yeah, this is on the table, maybe. That is one of those things, this has to be in the movie.
It's like...
How dare you?
It can't have even costed that much, probably, you know?
I'm sure that they probably could have asked, hey, we're remaking, can we reuse this song?
Use it again?
Yeah.
No changes.
Right? Or do you want to come re-record it with us? We'll pay for the recording equipment.
Like John Powell is currently redoing all of the soundtrack anyways. Come on in.
Exactly! Bro! Oh my gosh. Alright.
Because I've seen How to Train Your Dragon enough that when it ends, that plays.
Yes.
And it didn't.
It didn't.
I was very much expecting it to, and it did not.
We even stayed, like, you know how most people stay for the end credit? Ooh, there's an after credit scene. We stayed to listen to that song, because we're like, there's no way they don't play this song.
I really felt like they should have put something at the end. Or did they? They didn't, did they?
No. It just ends.
Yeah.
Which is fine. I don't like modern culture of staying until the end credit scene. Screw that.
No, what? I actually do like the end credit scene. As a Marvel fan, from like starting in 2008 when I went with my father and we watched the Iron Man in film on the big screen, 2008, it was the week of release. We saw 4 movies that weekend, and one of them was Iron Man, right? Mm-hmm. That's the only one I remember that weekend, right? It's the one I remember still. At the end of that, we have a cutscene. Right? They're just short cutscenes. That's all they are. They're not part of the movie. They're separate. But they're cool. Right? It's just like, me and my dad were already in a habit of staying and watching most of the credits.
Right.
Because it's cool. Also, you kind of appreciate how many people it took to make a movie. It's like, oh, hey, that's a role that I don't see that often. And they've got a lot of people. I wonder why. Let me Google it. Let's see what's going on. Why do they have 10 grips? What do they need that for?
Right.
What do they need 27... like mechanical engineers essentially for?
Right.
Oh yeah, they straight up built the Iron Man suit for Iron Man 2008. Tony Stark, Robert Downey Jr. was in the Iron Man suit for most of that movie. Like the big bulky one at the beginning. Mm-hmm. They built that because they couldn't do it CGI. It would have cost too much.
Yeah.
They said, okay, we'll just build one. So
we'll just build it.
So in the credits, they have people who are straight up like mechanical engineers essentially who worked on it, right? And you wouldn't know that unless you watch the mechanic. Unless you either watch like bonus features behind the scenes, or you watch credits and you see those people, and then you go and find those things.
Yep.
So, I'm already in the habit of watching most of the credits anyways. And if the movie's not great, I usually won't watch. Like, I'll probably leave when it's over. But if it's a movie that I was like, yeah, that was good. Right? If I give it at least 7 out of 10, I'll stay and watch the credits. If it's lower, I'll probably leave. If it's much below 3, I'll probably leave halfway through, as you might understand.
Yes.
We've only had a couple of those, really, though. You can pretty much weed them out from just things like trailers. There's that movie that came out recently from Disney Pixar that while we were at the How to Train Your Dragon, the trailer came up, and I told you, that movie's going to flop. And you asked me, what do you mean? I said, look at the animation style.
Oh, it was the remake of the Smurfs.
No,
Yeah.
No. The new one where the kid like gets like he goes and finds some alien friends.
Oh, Elio?
Elio, yeah.
Elio.
That movie is currently flopping in the box office. It is not good from everything that I've seen, having not seen it myself and don't plan on it. But it's that animation style. Like, why do we need this animation style? Everything's that now from Disney Pixar.
Yeah.
So, and those movies are flopping. The at least the animation style for the like How to Train Your Dragon stuff, especially like specifically the live action in this case, it was well done. Like even
It was good. It was just not
It was
the correct
too
character.
stiff
It was
in the
stiff,
face.
but it was good.
I think the only places that they're stiff though is the face. The Toothless bouncing around at the end, like I said, looks amazing from a technical standpoint and from like an animation standpoint. At the end, Toothless jumping around and stepping on him, like he's like, oh
Yeah.
why are you in my house?
You're in my house, and he's like a duck.
Yeah,
Yeah, great.
That looks great. A little bit stiff in the face, but the way that he flows body wise in the house. And just about breaks the house as well. In the live action, it's like breaking the banister, basically. That's good.
But if you remember, so in the animated version, when they're flying over the lake, right, this is exactly where you can see the animation change. When they're flying over the lake the very first time, and Hiccup is on his tail holding it manually, yes, it's working. Hiccup, or Toothless, turns around, sees him, makes an angry face, and then flings him off.
And then, because he's been flung off, also
Turns around.
careens into the ocean.
In the live action,
Not
he
the
doesn't
ocean,
do that. They just fall into the lake.
Because he stops managing it.
Yeah, he stops it. That's it. There's none of that expression
But-
of like.
You know what
He
that,
just turns around and is
So you know what
angry.
that fails to set up then? Later in the movie when he catches Astrid and he looks back at
Yeah.
Astrid.
Yeah.
Because that's a thing that he's already done several times and at that point in the cartoon is looking back at Hiccup
Yeah.
in that way.
Speaking of weird things with Astrid in the ending scene, why is she in the thing's mouth? Remember that?
I'd have to look. Sorry.
So in the animated movie, it's just the big thing starts sucking in the natter, right?
Oh.
Pulls it in, and then Hiccup flies over, boom!
So
And then he flies up and catches her. In this version, the thing bites her natter's tail,
And
starts pulling it, and she jumps off into the thing's mouth and starts
his-
hacking at its teeth with her axe.
that was very silly of you.
What? What on earth purpose does that serve?
She's a girl boss.
No, I get that. Why is she?
She's the girl boss.
Why is she standing in the thing's mouth?
It's fucking huge. It's to display. It's fucking. You know what displays that is fucking huge? That snot loud is wedged in between two of its four eyes and can barely. I can't miss.
What's wrong, buddy? You got something in your eye? That line's missing too, by the way.
Very funny as well. Because the entire fire brigade, all funny. That's their point. They're comedy relief.
Yes.
They are the comedy relief. The fact that Hiccup has jokes isn't a comedy relief thing. That's a coping mechanism because he feels inferior, worse, insignificant, however you want to
Yeah,
put it.
no kidding, right? Pain. Love it.
Right. His coping mechanism is comedy. That's not his purpose. The fire brigade's purpose is that comedy relief.
Let me keep ranting about Astrid in this final scene. So first off, she doesn't need to be in the dragon's mouth. She's not capable of chipping its teeth with her axe. I don't care how strong she is. That's not
I don't
happening.
care how weak. Vice versa. It's not a strong thing. It's a weak thing.
I don't care how weak the thing's teeth are, right? But number two, if you are a predator and you grab something here, right? Are you going to sit there and hold it like this? No, you're going to keep going forward. It just holds it there with its mouth. It doesn't open its mouth again.
The thing that it's doing in the cartoon, which is better, is it's sucking it in physically.
Yes!
And it's almost preparing a fire blast at the same time, right?
Right. Well, and that's the other thing is, like, in terms of timing, it doesn't have the scene where it zooms out to Hiccup and he's like, oh shoot, Astrid's in trouble. Then they go. It just shows Astrid getting sucked in, and then you hear the whisper, and then there's the Night Fury. It doesn't exist.
Because in the cartoon, the Red Death is sucking the Natter in, and Toothless fires the firebolt directly into its mouth, basically.
Yes.
And it hits it like in the side of the face.
Yes.
It doesn't hit it in the mouth. So, but we still get the setup later.
Right.
But directly knocks him away, and the force of like the whole blast is what knocks her off.
Yes.
And is why she needs catching. In the live action, she's jumping out of that brother's mouth for no reason. Like, you're chilling there. The teeth don't even touch.
They don't work. They're clearly not chopped. But here's the other thing.
Chomping.
Here's the other thing. Hiccup looks at Astrid and says, "Call it out. You're the team leader." And so she starts shot calling.
She
in
does
the final
all the
scene.
same things, but she says them instead of Hiccup.
It's the exact same lines, but she is saying them instead of Hiccup. Why? I mean, I know why.
Well,
I know exactly why.
It's the gender roles reversed because she's the boss bitch, right?
Yes.
But they literally flipped it fully because she tells a Hiccup to call it out instead of Hiccup calling her.
Exactly, and it's
that's
the whole point is that
he
Hiccup
doesn't call it out either, though. In the cartoon, he basically like gives everyone their plan.
He gives it the plan.
He gives the plan.
Yes.
And then he asks Fish Legs for the stats.
Fish Legs, break it down.
Fish Legs still gives the stats.
Yes.
And that's good, right? The way that he delivers that line is very Fish Legs. Very well done. But the crashing the Gronkle, it's like, I've lost power of the Gronkle.
Nothing.
He doesn't say that, first of all. Sad.
Astrid should not be shot calling. The whole point is that Hiccup, the 3-part series, the arc of Hiccup is going from being being a Hiccup to being chief of the village. He is the leader. He is the one who needs to be shot calling. Mm-hmm. The ending scene of the first movie is where he starts to accept his role. He says, okay, I've got a plan. I'm going to call it out. Rough, tough, find out if it has a shot limit. Make it mad. Right?
Yeah.
That line doesn't exist.
What's your plan? I don't know. Probably something stupid.
Good, but you've already done that.
Well, something crazy.
I will say that was another thing that the live-action actor for Hiccup did really well, was the switch on his face from probably something stupid, then something
Astrid
crazy.
does deliver her line well there, too, though.
And Hiccup...
Gotta give them both credit.
His facial expression changes perfectly as he gets his idea.
That's good direction.
That's
from
fantastic.
The director there.
Yes.
And that whole... Also, why was it so fucking dark while they were doing that? It was barely impossible. Very, very hard to see.
Because they did it at night.
It was very hard to see. And they did the whole battle sequence at night, too, almost, basically.
Yeah. It's bizarre.
It was supposed to be like middle of the morning, or like kind of like almost perfectly midday.
Yeah.
But you can't even tell that in the cartoon because it's so overcast until the Red Death fails, and then it starts to become because the Red Death is the reason there's so much fog everywhere, right? That's kind of the whole point of that character, like as the villain of the show, kind of. He's not really the villain. The villain is like Hiccup's own inner monologue, really. But that's just like an antagonist, really. It's not the villain of the movie.
Right.
But as an antagonist, the aura that he creates, like literally just a wall of fog that they enter. Also, in that scene, speaking of the wall of fog that they enter, not having like the flashing of the dragons obliterating their boat for free.
Right.
That's
One thing cool that came out of that scene is you got to see the underwater dragons, like hunting the boat. Cool. Here's the other weird thing. You remember that shows that scene of like the dragons sitting up on the rocks as they're going in? They're like, why are they not attacking? Why are there guardian dragons in the Isles all of a sudden? Like,
I like it if it had been them.
If it had been them. But they're just there, and they're just like, why are they not attacking? Well, and then there's the other thing in that scene. Do you remember? There's the part. So they're sailing through, and Gobber walks up to Stoic, and he's like, yeah, you know, some of the men, not me, are wondering if there is in fact a plan at all.
Comedy reduction.
And what it may be. Find the nest and take it. Oh, the Viking. That whole scene is gone.
Yeah.
Completely gone.
Because Gobber is no longer the comedy relief as well.
Correct. But he's also not Stoic's right-hand man. Is it just me, or does he not feel like he's Stoic's right-hand man?
He doesn't feel as much as the right hand. He still feels like he's clearly the right hand. It's just not as impactful.
Right.
The Stoic not picking up the fucking whole... It's like, why have a catapult if you're just gonna throw the catapult? Like, honestly, clearly Stoic should have just been throwing the boulders
himself
instead of the catapult. But it might be in like a stamina thing. It's like, if I throw 2 boulders, I'm gonna be out of energy, but I can fight for an hour and a half instead.
Right.
Right.
Well, and there's, while we're on the characterization of Gobber real quick, because, like, number one, he doesn't feel like Stoic's right hand. There's another part. Remember when they're first in dragon training, and Snotlout makes the comment, he's like, oh, Hiccup already killed a Night Fury, so does that disqualify him? That's in this movie. It's fine. It's weird that that piece of comedy's in there. But then Gobber pulls Hiccup to the side, and he gives him the little pep talk, and he says, they'll see you as sick or insane and go after the more Viking-like teens instead. And he pulls him to the side as he's saying that, right? And in this one, it's just him saying it to everyone. That little detail of Gobber pulling Hiccup to the side...
Gobber isn't being mean to him.
Right.
He's being realistic.
But he's also, like, he's like, listen, I asked for you to be here. I wanted you to be here. I begged your father...
I'm going to make sure that you're going to be okay.
I'm going to help you out. He's going to pull him to the side. He's going to give you a tip. You confident, be got this. Like, he doesn't do that. He just says that. The more Viking-like teens, instead, as he's looking at all of them, instead of just, it's this little scene, and it's like...
That's a direction thing from the director and as well the actor. It's just so weird that as the director of the cartoon, he would make those decisions. Like, I wonder if some of the things were, it's like, hey, I'd like to do it like this because it's how we did it, and then like someone from HR is basically like, oh, we can't do it like that.
I don't know.
Not like, but like a corporate overlord kind of style of like, we can't do it that way because it like.
Well, I wonder if it. You know what? Remember how we were talking?
Because there's more insults just in general that are more open, like you said with the like lost leg. Or the arm or whatever from one of the characters. He's just trying to... Stoic's making fun of that character.
Yeah.
That's not something Stoic did in the original in terms of like characterization. So I think just the more open making fun of people is slightly more accepted in this movie, where it turns Gobber from a helpful tip with a little bit of comedy into just like a strong insult with comedy.
What if, remember our IP idea earlier we were talking about? What if the movie had to be a certain percentage different?
For it to be counted?
For it to be counted as renewing the IP. And so they made all of these changes that I have on here that are bad, all of these little details.
The little things as well as the additions. Little things removed, little things added.
So that they could qualify it as a new piece of media.
I don't see why not. It could be that. It could just be like that kind of modern audience take as well, though.
Right.
It doesn't. Most of it doesn't feel modern audience, though. You can like in Snow White, you can really tell.
Right.
There's a couple, having not seen all of it, but seen enough of it to understand. Like I watched the Little Platoon's 4-hour video on the Snow White. That not even quite 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
So, like you can tell when things are modern audience specified.
Yes.
When people are hired explicitly for those reasons as well, right? On the other hand, Snow White has some of the funniest particular character that I've heard in a while. There's one character, and he's like, I am, like, and he states his name, like, Master of the Crossbow. And he says it, like, 3 times, and that's the only thing he says, and he's just like this short dwarf. He's the only actual dwarf in the movie, right? Because all of the other dwarves are CG except for him.
Right.
and he's not one of the seven dwarves. He's just a character. He's like, my name is so and so, and I am a master of the crossbow. He shoots a crossbow once. He does land, first of all, but this is the thing he says, and for some reason it's just so funny to me because this character is an actual character, and all they say is this one thing, and somehow better character than Snow White, a better character than the Queen, better character than some of the guards. Right? Like, hold on. So, you can tell. I don't think Astrid was modern audience, DEI woke, whatever nonsense. I don't think it was that. I don't think most of the editions were either. I think some of the editions were just, they felt like being, like, they probably had a slightly more diverse cast that they'd already planned on, because as they get people, it's like everyone loves How to Train Your Dragon.
Right.
It doesn't matter whether they're white, black, or whatever, because people want to work on the movie.
Good art doesn't care what race you are, you can enjoy it. Right.
Yeah. So, as the actors that they've chosen, it probably was more or less like, hey, who wants to work on the movie? And you get a huge assortment of people, and the easiest way to do that, they just come from all over. Boom, bam, bam. That edition doesn't hurt it, personally.
Right.
But they needed to be called Vikings more specifically, like from all over the place. They could have done it, and it would have been fine. Because the addition of multi-race does not hurt stories. It's the forced addition and the replacement of races in any direction.
Right.
There's a couple times where it works, and there's a couple times where it doesn't work. And we've seen them very explicitly, and the ones that work, you don't even notice. Samuel L. Jackson playing Nick Fury in The Avengers, that man was supposed to be white. Does Nick Fury, he's Samuel L. Jackson, right? Samuel L. Jackson is Nick Fury. He did that role so
Samuel
well.
L. Jackson doesn't play characters.
He plays Samuel L. Jackson.
He puts himself in whatever you...
He does. Yeah, right? So that character, played by
I
Samuel
want a
L. Jackson.
purple lightsaber, damn it.
So he gets his purple lightsaber.
So he
right?
gets it. He changes all of canon because he wants a purple lightsaber.
So now he has a specific style, a specific thing that is entirely new because he wants to be in that, in that universe.
Yep.
Fair enough. As the opposite in terms of quality, you have The Little Mermaid. Entirely forced. It does not make sense in the slightest. Mm-hmm. Why is this character that lives far enough under the ocean that they have no sunlight half the time sometimes? Just always? That doesn't make sense. Or, like, a lot of, like, the Viking type characters, if they were Vikings, the removal of the line that they are, a few degrees south of freezing.
A few degrees south of freezing to death, yeah.
Yeah, and a few degrees, they have a whole...
Located solidly on the meridian of misery.
Yeah,
Gone.
And that's very funny. But it specifies that they're fucking far north. So it makes sense that they're all white, and of that historical culture.
Right.
It works.
Mm-hmm.
So they already had explained that in the initial. And by doing it slightly different and explaining it in a different way in the live action, that was fair. I honestly like some of the, the more diverseness of the film. It's cool.
Right.
But the removal of things at the cost, the cost of these new editions was the removal of some of the funny things, as well as some of the more genuine tone things. So you miss a lot from those removals for the cost of
the tone is completely wrong in the live action. It's not
nowhere near as funny.
It's not funny. It's not enjoyable. It's not lighthearted.
Well, even the whole film was never lighthearted to begin with, right? The scene where Stoic is exclaiming, "You're not my son."
Right.
Right. You're not one of us. You're not my son. Right. That's a huge moment. It's not lighthearted. That is honestly truly deep for a kids movie cartoon, even for the time. Right. DreamWorks has consistently had some of the actually just good movies from that category of cartoons meant for quote unquote kids. Mm-hmm. But you have your cartoon vibe, and then what DreamWorks has, for the most part, always done. They have these movies that are just at any age you can watch it and still take value from it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if you really get that as much from this live action. I feel like you miss some of it. as like especially more of the like middle levels of engagement, and as well like those who'd seen the original. If you'd never seen the original and you're a kid, honestly fine. Even if you're like teenager to young adults, honestly fine. But if you've seen the original, especially if you've seen all three or even some of the TV shows, or like the Christmas specials, right? The overall tone is much more serious and much less lighthearted, and what you get from that is a lower value, because when your whole thing has that shifted tone into the slightly more serious, the much more serious beats, like the "You're Not My Son" or "You've Brought Him Back to Life," is much more impactful when more of it's lighthearted and you are able to sink to those lows. And then you also get the rising to the highs from "You're Not My Son" to "You've Brought Him Back to Life," right?
Right.
The low and the high is much
the contrast,
more
yeah.
when you start at a much higher value versus having it more all down. The high doesn't reach as high because it didn't start as high,
right?
And the low can't reach as low because you were already so close. You've compressed it. It's like setting like a limit on like the volume of something, right? When you go into your volume settings and you say you can't go past 80 decibels or whatever, right? So it cuts the peaks. So you shrink the range of the film. So by shrinking the range of everything in terms of tone and consistency, your maximums and your minimums are so much worse. I cannot say the film is bad. 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10. That kind of like 3.5 out of 10. Or sorry, 3.5
out of 5. Yeah.
That kind of range. That's very average, very fair. It is not a bad movie, but I cannot say it is a good movie. 8, 9 out of 10. I cannot say that it's a great movie. 9+ out of 10. And I can't say it's perfect. Like the original. The original has very few flaws, especially if you've seen it several times. You notice the minor details that add up throughout the film, making it that 9.5+ out of 10. For that kind of, obviously, there are no such thing as perfect movies, but when you are striving for your vision on that story, and because out of the three, the second one is by far the weakest of the three entries. But the first and the third entries are very well done. The third one is not amazing in terms of consistency, and the story is a little bit lackluster. But the
story is forced. The story itself is fine.
The story is very forced, but the theme and the consistency across, as well, the character development that we get from Hiccup and from Astrid, even the fire brigade, and the rest of the village, the character development across all three is incredibly well done.
Right.
As a trilogy, they fit really well together. Sure, the third one's forced and a little bit more of that corporate, we need to make a third one because everyone's asking for it.
And it has to be the final in the trilogy, so we're going to force them to say goodbye. Oh no, they're leaving. Like, so that we'll rant about that in a different...
I think a lot of that is because even in this first one, it's a kids movie cartoon. From 2010.
Yep.
Ages ago at this point. But, you know what he has? What he learns? A permanent consequence to his actions. Not only does Toothless lose the part of his tail, right? That's a permanent consequence. Obviously fixed through technology and through ingenuity. But
Hiccup companionship.
But Hiccup also loses his leg. That's a permanent consequence. Just you can fix it with the peg leg that he gets, right? Sure, and he fixes it up and is better in the second one. But as a kids movie, his actions do have consequences. So that's insane. Most kids movies ignore them entirely. Think about Elio. That movie has no consequences. I've only seen a little bit, but from my understanding, the consequences are null and void. They just don't. They're not there. Nothing. I mean, most movies like. Even something like more of our Marvel movies recently. There's not permanent consequences to any of them, almost at all. We had, at the end of the Eternals, a straight-up celestial, solidified, coming out of... that would be such a significant and huge consequence for the end of that movie. that was ignored for in real time years, but in universe also for some reason years, right?
Right.
Like this would be a huge deal. It would have been a next day thing. Boom. Everyone's gonna be, and especially as soon as they find out that like they call it adamantium in the movie. Very silly, first of all, for the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, we've had that in Terraria since 2000.
Well, but adamantium has been like a huge deal because it's kind of like that vibranium hybrid that is not quite. Cap shield isn't adamantium. Cap shield is something specific. It's called proto-vibranium or proto-adamantium, depending on your sources. But then Wolverine is made out of adamantium, and it's an attempt to recreate the vibranium like composite that Tony Stark's father made for Cap shield, because Cap shield is crazy. It is by far the strongest thing, other than straight up just like Uru or the like unobtainium style stuff.
So let's focus back.
But you see, the consequences aren't there.
Right.
Right? You have these huge moments that aren't in these movies, right? So when you go to the How to Train Your Dragon, even in the live action, they've kept these permanent consequences, which is a good thing.
Right.
Right? They didn't change it too much to lose the permanent consequences. So as a story and as a thing, it's like just because something bad happens to you does not mean that it's the end. And just because something bad happens to like someone you know doesn't mean it's the end for them either, right? So both people take the consequence, and for both people it's their are they vice versa? Are they mirrored?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They're the same.
Yeah,
They're both losing
left.
the myth left. Yeah.
They both lose the left bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, and you had to take something.
Right.
Right. So.
Oh yeah, that line isn't in the movie either.
True, you're right.
Actually, no. That's from the second movie. That's from the second movie that he makes
Had
that
to get
comment.
something. No, in the first one, Gabber does say it's like you saved my boy. It's like, well, most of him.
That's in the new one too.
That is kept, which is good.
Which is weird because they're trying to not do this comedic thing, and then they go to the most serious moment, and then they're like, "Oh yeah, no, let's leave that comedic bit in."
I wonder if that's kind of a Marvel effect as well, then, because the Marvel really can't help itself with making jokes after their serious moments, just so that it's never too serious.
Right.
Because, like, for example, I brought it up earlier as an actor thing, right? Your Gerard Butler, he's great on the acting for this year. But, like, Florence Pugh also for the Thunderbolts.
Yep.
But in that movie, your biggest serious moments are followed up by comedy moments again.
Right.
Right? So I wonder if the reason they kept that comedy line in is because of the kind of Marvel effect on comedy against seriousness. Because for the most part, it didn't fit in the vibe that they had. On the other hand, as we've discussed, most of the comedy lines didn't fit because they removed most of them.
Right.
And by removing some of them, you should have just removed all of them because they don't fit because they kind of stack on top of each other. It's almost like a building block. You're building like the foundation, and then you do the framing, then you do the drywall, and then you can put the furniture inside. You can't just put the furniture out on the lawn and expect the house to be there.
Right.
You can't build the house on top of the furniture. It's in the way.
Well, and it's like leveling up a skill tree. It's like you're going to take 5 points in the skill, and they're like, oh yeah. No. Either take those skill points and get to the level 10, or put them in a different tree. Don't half-ass your skill tree.
Well, as a counter-argument, we do have multi-classing.
Do not talk about build diversification. All right, listen. We've done a great job so far. I think I agree with you. It's just 3.5 out of 5. It's
like
not as good.
Like 7. I would give it because of effort and quality. Like in terms of quality for filming, there's only a couple moments that are like the shaky cam jarring that definitely bring it down. 7.5, 8. It's like that kind of 7 to 8 range, depending on how I'm feeling that day. But in terms of like story, I think it's towards that 6. Comedy also kind of towards like 5.5, 6. because it's missing enough of the comedy that not all of it lands because some of it's missing.
Right.
Which it is an issue. The twins banter doesn't land almost ever because they're missing 90% of the twins banter.
Right.
And that really does set up a lot of like other banters as well.
Right.
Like shit that the twins are saying to each other is like a lot of times leads into someone else saying something about someone else. So.
Well, and one other thing, just as a point of that, the whole point about the twins bickering, if you notice once they get the Zipple back, the reason they get the Zipple back is because it has two heads, and the heads start bickering with each other too. They don't do that in the live action. The Zipple back does not bicker with itself at all. Just as a note. Anyways, continue.
That's a shame.
Yeah,
I didn't realize
the
that.
Zipple back doesn't bicker with itself. Because the twins have been tuned down to not bicker, the Zipple back never does it either.
Also, the change of when Snotlot jumps off the Red Death into the Zippleback, in the cartoon, it is explicit. It's like, I didn't think that worked, as he slams into the middle of the two necks. But in the live action, they think they missed.
Yeah,
which is very different.
Yeah,
and that would have worked better if there had been more of their bickering and comedy back and forth. That could have actually worked. But they didn't have enough of the build-up elsewhere for it to have worked. Because they would have needed, the shield bonk and stuff like that. The more, but I don't know the word, but, the old school, bonk-style comedy.
Slapstick.
Yeah, because they fit that slapstick comedy that's their role specifically. Fish Legs as well. It's getting... burnt to a crisp by the Gronkle, basically. Fish legs! That man, the Gronkle is gonna eat this man, basically. And the Gobber's reaction to it is priceless, and it's not quite as toned up in the live action, because, which is unfortunate, because it's great in the cartoon. And then, of course, the go back to bed, you overgrown sausage.
Go back to bed, you overgrown sausage!
Yeah, that's not quite as well done. That's the missing Scottish accent. Again, a direction choice, very weird. But just kind of across the board, if the twins had been a little bit more slapstick, the thinking they missed would have worked better. As an addition, it would have been good. But it's not because of the things that they changed and removed. If they had kept it as is and added that as a little thing, fair. But the subtractions make it not good. Again, bringing my comedy to kind of that 5.5, 6. So the overall rating, kind of that 7, 7.5. And I think 7.5 would still be a little bit generous, depending on the grading scales. Your 3.5 star range, that kind of more 6 to 7 range, instead of 7.5 is a little bit pushing it still. I give it a 7. Just very good, but it could have been amazing or even better. As a live action opportunity, what it does is it does allow you to make things better. You have that opportunity to go back and fix the things that weren't quite as good, or improve things that were good but could have been great.
And that's all you had to do. It was just take exactly what was already there, fix a few of the things.
Something like Alice in Wonderland, that live action remake. The reason most people don't consider it that Disney live action remake is because it's a better story. They've gone about it in a better way. Having Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter was genius, right? Good movies, fair enough. You don't really care about how do I put it? In video game terms, nobody cares that the main character was a woman when the story was good. Expedition 33 right now, Claire Expedition 33. A lot of people are saying Game of the Year. Its cast is 80% women. You know what it is? Well written. And funny, and good, and the gameplay is good, the story's good, the whole thing's good. That's why it's going to be a Game of the Year. From what I've seen, from what we have upcoming as well, things like Doom: The Dark Ages could have been up there, but they just dropped that ball entirely on that. Monster Hunter Wilds is sitting at a mostly negative review rating with a deeply mixed across the board for the overalls now, as the end game is clearly lacking the quality, and the optimization continues to be non-existent for anyone with a computer not made this year of NASA computers, right?
Yep.
The only other game that really is competing, and because it came out in January, is already fallen off of radars because of recency, was Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and that game is amazing in every way. Like, it is one of the better RPGs we've ever had. It's not quite Baldur's Gate level 3, Baldur's Gate 3 level of quality, but as a game, it definitely is in that competitor for Game of the Year, in my opinion. So we have really like two games that are the competitors, at least on console.
Yep.
Obviously, or not console, on PC right now. But I did not know about Astrobot until the Game Awards, because it was PlayStation only, and
Correct.
It won.
Yep.
Some of that's weird. So
It's because they couldn't have Bellatra win.
they couldn't have.
Bellatra would have won.
Wukong could have won as well.
Black Myth Wukong could have won.
Either of them, because Black Myth Wukong ran a little bit poorly on some of the AMD systems, but they fixed it like 2 weeks after it launched.
Yeah.
And like some of that was because it was relying a little bit heavily on the like RTX cores and the tensor cores for like things like the upscaling and stuff. But with the addition of the FSR 3.3 at the time, it was fine. And then with FSR 4.0 now, that everything's starting to upgrade to, including Black Myth, it runs fine. It's like 10 to 15% worse than you would expect it to be on like taking like a 9070 XT versus like a 5070. The 5070 still is outperforming on Black Myth specifically, but you know, in terms of like game of the year, those games, right?
Right.
And then for like this year, in terms of our games of the year, we've got a couple, and we've got more upcoming that should be pretty fair, right? But in terms of like movies of the year, if we move back to our movies, lovely.
I'm so proud of you. You managed to get back on track.
Don't worry about it. The movies side of things, I don't know if How to Train Your Dragon is a movie of the year contender, but on the other hand,
It's not.
I don't think that there is enough movies that are of even a 7 quality that maybe it is game of the year, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
But I guess I'd need to see more movies, because movies that have come out this year that I've actually watched consists of our How to Train Your Dragon and the like Thunderbolts, New Avengers, whatever. I've yet to see the new Mission Impossible movie.
Yeah. I've heard it's not good.
Some of it is that I'm scared that it's not good, because the Mission Impossible like anthology, the 7 movies that they've got or whatever, right, have all been so good that I'm like afraid to see it end in a way that is not amazing. Because like if it's not at least in-game quality to cap off like a genre essentially, right? Because who's making big budget action films anymore? It's Tom Cruise. Right, so when he's done, we're not going to have these anymore. Tom Cruise is the reason we had another Top Gun movie, of which that movie was great, right? That movie would have been a movie of the year of mine for that year, right? And then of course our Mission Impossible, all of them, all 1 through 7, and yet to see still 8, hopefully 8. But
hopefully 8.
Apparently I've not heard amazing things about it. I've almost not heard anything about it anyways.
Yeah.
Some of it says that it's over 3 hours long. So as a movie, that's just kind of a long movie. But some of it's also just like, nobody's going to make live action movies anymore.
Right.
We're just not going to have that genre. Because you know what it is? It's not that profitable, actually. Unless your name is Tom Cruise. And then, you $1 billion on Top Gun Maverick for essentially free, because they didn't spend all that much money on it actually, like comparatively to some of these other big movies, which is wild to think about, because they actually flew the jets, like not the jets that they're like they CG'd like a different jet over the jet they're flying. They are actually pulling G's in those movies, right, and I just don't see that level of commitment on the How to Train Your Dragon live action, like a level of care and effort from everyone across the board. Because like on your Mission Impossible, right, you have Simon Pegg, James Rhymes, the what's her name? The lady who plays Peggy Carter in like Marvel movies, right? Like she's like, of course, Tom Cruise funding and directing those films, right? And even the film where Henry Cavill's in, right? Like the care across the board from everyone is insane, and I don't see that as much in the live actions of How to Train Your Dragon specifically. Obviously, the live action's kind of across the board for Disney as well, but in this case, the thing we've been talking about for 2 hours is the How to Train Your Dragon live action. The care and craftsmanship from John Powell is clear and evident. He did his best. Having redone the whole soundtrack, it's not just a copy. He did go in and redo it. They re-recorded all of it. Fair enough. It all sounds great. Even the weird additions to like the slow-mo and stuff, he did his best still, right? It's still good, but the difference is worse.
Yes.
As sound goes, though, it's still phenomenal. The sound design, the costume design, like those people clearly cared, right? It's not fucking Ring of Power with their garbage tier bargain bin, like literally
Thrift shops.
Not even thrift shop. Like 90% of the amazing like artists that we have in our movies from the last 20 years, like the Lord of the Rings, a lot of their costume design is bargain bin thrift shopping. They just put it all together themselves. They made chainmail, like straight up made it themselves so that they could have it for some scenes.
Doesn't exist.
And they didn't do that for the Ring of Power. They did. They didn't quite do it like to the level of Lord of the Rings, but the costuming and the art department for the live action, very good job. The houses, the landscaping for like the CG artists as well, and then of course the costumes. Stoic the Bass looks great. Hiccup's outfit looks great. Astrid's is a little bit off, but that's because they changed her character a little bit, and so like a lot of her is different, right? So, but her outfit doesn't look bad either, though. It just is different looking.
It doesn't have the iconic pauldrons with the little like bird skull on it.
Yeah, so
spikes. Yeah, it's just wrong, but
it's
not
wrong,
bad.
but it still looks good, and
Right.
it fits the universe that they've built and live in. A lot of times you'll have different costumes that don't quite fit the universe that they're supposed to be in.
Right.
As like not all of them look like in a similar vibe, but for the most part, you don't notice any of it in the live action, and it's well enough done that you can ignore the little things that like don't matter,
Right.
or the little things are covered up anyways, so you don't even notice them first of all.
Right.
So very well done acting, or sorry, like the artists in the character department, and as well like the landscape and the set design. Very good. Of course, things like the door not bouncing. That's not really a set design issue. That's more of a directing issue because they could have built that in regardless.
Yeah.
Even if the set design didn't change there, that's an acting thing of the door acting, right? Like as stupid as that says, like when you say it out loud, oh, the door acting was slightly different. Well, it was, right?
It was.
Because the door is supposed to bounce and kind of like slowly open back up.
And the light barely comes back on Hiccup. That's
Yeah.
an important,
Because he's not lost all hope yet, just most of it.
Right.
And that's a little character moment that the door has, which when you say out loud, sounds really silly, but it is. That's what's happening there. It's an interaction between Stoic the door, the light, and Hiccup. And it portrays a lot about Hiccup, the way that like he internally is feeling, that he has just a little bit of light still. It's not a crazy amount, and it's like a little bit off to the side even, right? It's not central, it's not stupid bright, it's not encompassing everything, just a little bit. It's a sliver of hope.
Well, but it also shows that Stoic is like yeah, he's acting out of rage, but it's not a rage that's going to stick around. It's not like there's a very big difference between slamming a door shut and having it stay shut, and slamming it open.
He slams the door so hard that it doesn't stay closed.
Right.
Because, like, in that particular moment, his rage exceeds everything. and he's so strong the door wouldn't stay. But in this particular instance, with the live action, it's almost like he didn't slam it hard enough because he wasn't actually like as angry as like he's portraying. Because in the cartoon, when he slammed it so hard that it can't even stay shut. It just bounces right off, even if slowly. But right, and then in the live action, when it just stays, and it feels a little bit too like the door clicked when the doors wouldn't click. Right, they don't have latches; they just open.
All right. In the interest of saving us all another hour and a half, because we still got a lot of notes that I want to go, and I just want to touch them all, and just
okay.
I need to get these off my chest.
So let's do a fire round then, and that gives you a little bit of your YouTube shorts that you can do.
Yes.
If you want to like pause for moments even, or like clap into the mic for like peak sounds.
Right.
Or like I want a YouTube short to start here, or
right.
however you want. Right.
Exactly.
Let's do a fire round just real quick. And we'll get through some of your notes.
We're going to start with everything that I liked. If they had just taken the original and added this, it would have been
S-tier film, 10 out of 10.
S-tier film, 10 out of 10.
Like, if we fixed all of the... We went from 9.5 to 10 out of 10.
Correct. Okay. This would have been 10 out of 10.
Let's hear your notes.
Stoic versus the Monstrous Nightmare in the beginning.
Very good. I liked it. Straight up just beating the shit out of that man.
Headbutt.
It looked great. The headbutt is a huge addition. It's a minor character moment that is almost neglectful. Like, you could just ignore it and it doesn't change the fight because it doesn't happen in the original. So, simple moment, huge character moment as well. Very easy add.
Done.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Red Death. Upgrade.
Dude, he looks great.
10 out of 10.
For sure. His size is a little bit bigger, I think.
Much bigger.
Sure. Because, like, Snotlout barely fits in between the eyes instead of kind of resting on them now.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that more. Like, being more specific, hitting him in the single eye over and over again because his eyes the size of Snotlout just
instead of bouncing between the two.
Yep. The I Can't Miss still should have been in there, but he looks so much better, and he's very, very big.
Well, he is not a he anymore. He is a she.
True.
But we'll
they do call it a she.
They do call it a she. Anyways.
Irrelevant. The even Toothless being a she wouldn't have mattered. If they, like in the further one, flipped the gender as like a man instead. Really, the genders of the dragons are irrelevant. The point of the gendered dragons initially was that Hiccup rides Toothless, so it's the boys, and Astrid rides the girl Natter, and they're the girls.
Yes.
Right? And that's like, and the Gronkel is ridden by the fat guy, so it's the two fat kids, and then the
twins ride the dragon with two heads.
So
the fiery kid,
and then of course the fiery kid who lashes out, but doesn't really do all that much. Like, and is always out of juice for some reason because he's right. So like all of the dragons fit all of the characters.
Yes.
So the Red Death fitting like being the gender, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
As a change, didn't matter. Bigger, looks better. Very mighty. I like that one. 10 out of 10.
Snotlout's dad didn't need to be in there.
10 out of 10 though. The resting his hand on his shoulder at the end of the movie is like, I'm proud of you, son. Just he doesn't say it. He's just understandable. Also, don't talk to me in public.
Don't talk to me in public. Great.
That was so good.
Just add that to the original.
Because Snotlout, he doesn't take this as a, my dad doesn't love me. It's a, damn, I gotta be better.
Right, exactly.
Right? It's the exact opposite of Hiccup, right?
Right.
You see that, because Hiccup's dad is way better to Hiccup than Snotlout's dad is to Snotlout.
Yes.
But Snotlout still is that Viking mode, so he's like, I'll be better.
I'll just be better. Exactly. Don't worry, Dad, I'll win the top Slayer.
Don't talk to me in public.
Hey, Dad, I was just talking about don't talk. Toothless laugh during the kidnapping. That was not there in the first one. Mm-hmm. He chuckles and laughs like a little gremlin during the kidnapping scene.
He is a fucking gremlin.
He is a little gremlin.
That's the whole point. That's why he has the little bit of cat, is the shenanigans. Right?
Yes.
Because when you take your like dog pet, the house cat, and the panther, because in the original it was mostly the kind of like the panther, like the way that it like stalks almost, with the dog facial features, and then the cat-like shenanigans, and then of course the human emotion. That's what makes Toothless, and it's why he's very unique.
Yes.
Not really any, like, even like in your like Lion King or like other like the Jungle Book live action remakes, the animals never feel quite as good as someone like Toothless.
Right.
Because Toothless is just a mix of so many different animals.
He's not a creature. He's an amalgamation.
Yeah. That really helps him. So when you have your little moments like that, it's like, okay, fair.
Well, the one thing... Now, let's not get this construed. The kidnapping scene is worse overall. It's not a tree, it's on a cliff. But Toothless also doesn't do the big eye roll, like the everything's fine, down, gently. He doesn't do the eye roll. But
So where do you think you're going?
Exactly. He does laugh during the kidnapping, though. That's how granular I'm getting for the good stuff.
Yeah, I like that. But where do you think you're going?
Whoa! Where do you think you're going?
That
Stoic!
I mean, Stoic is across the board. I don't think there's any...
Outside of the one scene where he's making fun of the crippled Vikings, he's perfect.
Well, even then, Gerard Butler is still, like, doing an amazing job. It's just not something Stoic would have done.
Correct.
So it's different.
I guess I shouldn't say Stoic. I should say Gerard Butler is what I should say.
Because he clearly likes the film. Like, he's probably seen it, like, not as many times as someone like us.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, he probably has watched it with his kids a bunch. I mean...
Well, I mean, and imagine in public, right? You're Stoic and people recognize you.
Like how people recognize him for more things like Gladiator.
Well, right, but...
I think like Black Hawk Down and stuff like that, right?
Right.
Where Gerard Butler is a genuine feat of an actor, right? S tier. There's really only several dozen actors, like a good 100 or so, over the last, 5 decades that have been, that S-tier actor.
Yeah.
Where they are genuinely good at what they do, and they can become the roles rather than just being themselves.
Right.
Something like The Rock, like Kevin Hart, what's his name? Fucking Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is great.
What's her name? The Queen in Snow White as well. She's in a lot of things. What's her name?
It's not Emma Watson, is it?
Well, Emma Watson also is Emma Watson. But, you have someone like...
It's not Natalie Portman.
No, Natalie Portman does a good job in most of her roles as well.
I'm trying to... she does good, too, but anyways.
But Gerard Butler is an actual actor.
Yes.
He's not playing himself.
Mm-hmm.
He does a good job.
Yep.
In everything he's in. And he brings a level of care and love, especially to, I think, this, that if they'd chosen anyone else, I don't think could have done.
Correct.
Even if they had chosen someone who looks much more like Stoic, in terms of, size and proportions, I don't think it would have mattered. Because he was wearing, 40 pounds worth of clothes, is what he was saying, because he was basically wearing, an under rig to make him larger.
Exactly,
as well,
yeah.
Right? So, but, I mean, he carries it fine.
Right.
He moves pretty quickly still. And some of that also can be camera tricks that are employed and used, as well as things like CG. Right? When you're walking on a blue background, you can move quicker. Mm-hmm. Especially if it's just you and background, you can speed it up just a little bit, and it doesn't look awful. Again, one of the things that the cartoon is able to do better, because in the live action we have lots of silence while things are happening, in terms of moving.
There's a lot of dead air.
Lots of dead air from things like moving around.
Yep.
Because you can't move as fast and it look great in live action. Obviously you can, but it looks like they're moving fast then.
Alright, lightning round. Stoic, Gerard Butler, fantastic. Toothless sneezing, hilarious.
Yes.
Gobber makes a new joke in this one.
Oh yeah?
He says, "Should I bring my bucket hand for when they sink for when they blast the ships, or my swimming hand for when they sink?" It's a good line.
I didn't know that wasn't in the original.
That was not in the original.
That was well enough done. Fair enough. I'll give them that. Oh, okay. Now that I think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that is new. Very funny. I'll give you that. S tier. 10 out of 10.
I don't know why they're adding comedy when it seems like they wanted to remove most of it, but that line specific, if it had been done with the proper accent, belongs in the original. That is appropriate.
So if at the end of the town hall, "I'll pack my undies." "No, I need you to stay here and train the new recruits." If he had done the "I'll pack my undies," and then later, when they're actually going, it's not the "I'll pack my undies," it's the "Which hand should I bring?"
My bucket hand or my swimming hand?
That would have been fun.
Great.
Yeah, I like that. I didn't realize that was new. I didn't think about it that hard.
The island itself looks much better.
Burke?
The real Burke itself.
Yes. Some of that is the addition of the ability to do much more with a computer.
Yes.
So that's what 10 years does, even 15.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it being live action, the houses look better, the environment
Flowing
overall
water,
looks
the
better.
rivers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of it looks better, including like the hidden grove is very good looking as
Yes. The little detail at the end where they hint at the fact that they got back by flying on dragons.
Mm-hmm.
That isn't said in the first movie, it's
It's
implied.
like, you rode a dragon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great addition.
Nice little moment.
Little character thing.
It doesn't mean much, but as an addition, it does improve the story just a little bit because it shows that it's like, okay, if a dragon saves my kid, I'll give them a benefit of the doubt, and it'll be fine.
Yep.
Especially since, who was in charge of them riding back.
Right.
It was probably Toothless, being the little alpha that he is.
The little
Right.
alpha that he is, yeah.
And then it's because the combination of Toothless and Ashik could definitely round the entire village of dragons for sure.
Right.
Even with Hiccup knocked out. So, fair enough. Little additions.
There's the scene in the little grove where they're meeting for the first time, and it shows where Hiccup is trying to touch him, but like he keeps moving away. Except in the live action, they did it from Toothless's POV. So it's like him, he does his little fire circle, and then the camera pans and Hiccup's over there.
I like
places his tail, and then the camera just turns and Hiccup is right there. That was a good. I like that they switched it to be Toothless POV.
On the other hand, 50-50. You get the good with the bad. The fact that he has to drop the shield is stupid because it should have been lodged firmly
stuck
in the stone.
Yes,
and
that's part of the bad.
Yeah.
But shooting that scene from Toothless POV where he's blocking it, the camera doesn't move, it doesn't show Hiccup inching closer, it just pans back and Hiccup's right there. Comedic, great.
Very good.
In the ending fight, Toothless's fireball's actually melting the Red Death's wings, as opposed to just bouncing off.
I thought, it tears holes.
It tears holes. Not in the original. In the original, it bounces right off.
But in the original, when he opens up his wings to, not crash, it has several points in which it starts to open up.
That only starts after he's been lit on fire in his mouth.
Oh, so the last couple of shots.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, so that is new then, and that is a good addition then.
Yes.
Again, missing the fireproof on the inside scene for it to all work, but
showing Toothless's fireballs being the most powerful thing on the planet, actually doing damage. Great.
Yeah, obviously the Red Death, a fire effect while it's in the air does look amazing there as well. That is an upgrade visually.
Yep.
And
all of the fire looks
also
better.
Since they're fighting at night, it does make, because it's dark ish in the original, but it's more of the fog kind of smoke. But since they've moved it to night instead, it does fit Toothless better.
Yes.
So that as a minor negative for the we'll ride dragons to the battle is the minor positive for the Toothless actually just works better here.
Right.
And it makes more sense that the Red Death cannot see
Find
him.
him. Yep.
Because it's dark outside and Toothless is entirely black.
Yes.
So, minor bonus there.
Toothless is much bigger
Um,
in terms of scale.
by
And you
about
can
10-20%, yeah.
And you can tell because in the animated movie, at the end, when Stoic goes to place his hand on Toothless's head to say thank you for saving my son, Stoic's hand takes up half of Toothless's head.
Some of that Stoic's smaller as well.
Well, yes, I know that, but the scale is better because when he just feels there's more Toothless. It's great. He feels bigger.
Well, you need, for Hiccup to ride him, it needs to make a little bit more sense, so it needs to be slightly larger.
Yes, exactly. I don't know why they decided to go so hard on the snake tongues, but all the dragons have really good tongues for some reason. They feel more serpentine. They feel more reptilian. The zippleback. I'm really stretching for good things here.
No, the reduction of the not so fireproof on the inside means that it's why is their mouth more detailed than ever?
Right.
So fair enough, I guess. They do. now that you say it, they did look good, right?
Yes.
The dragons as a whole are well animated, well modeled, very well figured. The coloring is good.
Yes.
The designs as a whole are very good.
Yes.
Like, since that's where they're spending their CGI budget for the most part, instead of doing it on like superpowers and like other silly things like that, and having the characters slightly more grounded, especially in terms of movement, you can put more of that CGI budget towards things like the dragons looking good and the flying looking good.
They aren't as good of characters. All of the dragons fail on their character department.
Yeah, because their mouth is a little bit more stiff. Their face is a
they
whole.
look much better as dragons.
Yes.
Like, you could put them in any other... You could put them in
The
Game of
Monstrous
Thrones.
Nightmare looks really
Monstrous Nightmare is phenomenal. You could actually see him in Game of Thrones.
good. Bro, you could see the Red Death in like more of like a monster horror kind of style movie, and it'd be terrifying.
That's it. That's all I have that's good. Those are the only things I like.
In terms
that
of the additions, yes. In terms of like things that weren't additions, there's a lot of good still. But that's the problem.
That's because it's from the original. That's not...
Already the 9 out of 10 movies, so you can't really...
So let's go to the bad.
And then you've got 3 pages of
I was about to say
negative.
four pages of bad. So let's...
So you have, what, 2/3 of a page of good, and then...
half a page.
half a page of good.
And 4 pages of bad.
Not a great ratio.
No. Let's begin, because all of these bads are really bad. The first comment on here is Astrid is rude. We already touched on that. Don't like her new her new character, her new rationale, motivation in the movie. She sucks. She's just mean for no reason.
Yeah, a little bit of an asshole.
Yes.
For sure. But not like like an impartial, like, you know, like a free run. She's thousands of years old, so she's a little bit of an asshole just because it doesn't occur to her not to be an asshole unless she's thinking about it actively or is brought up.
Right.
She's just an asshole because she is.
She's just...
And it's not, like, as a free run character, I know you don't like that character because she's an asshole, but she's 1,000+ years old and hasn't spent a lot of time with humanity, so her just genuine demeanor is much different.
Right.
Versus an Astrid character, she's being an asshole because she's just better than you for some reason, I guess.
Right.
So, and that's not really a great reason to be an asshole almost ever.
Right.
Like, obviously, if you are the best in something, you can be a little bit of an asshole, but only if you've proven you are the best. And she kind of has, but she's also taken it a little bit too far, even for asshole's not the right word for, like, oh, I'm the best. You still don't get to be an asshole.
Right.
You can be a little bit cocky, a little bit pompous. So,
you don't get to go challenge the chieftain's son and threaten to take his house.
Not really, no. No.
Sorry, Astrid.
Like,
you don't get to do that.
Because when you think about, like, people who are really good at something, they're the best at these things, they tend to be a little bit cocky and pompous and a little bit of an asshole. Think Max Verstappen, the current 4-time world champion. Lewis Hamilton, a previous 7-time world champion for Formula 1. Right, these guys, they can be huge assholes on track, and sometimes even an asshole off track if they're talking about, like, competitors or just after a race. Mm-hmm. But they're not, like, outwardly awful assholes. Not after, like, especially, like, just, like, if you caught them on a Tuesday or a Wednesday, like, just at the club. They're fine people. They're normal people still. But on track, in that heat of the adrenaline, she's not having this crazy heat of adrenaline. She's not in the battle. She's just in the library being an asshole.
Yes.
Not fair.
Not. Yeah.
So, negative towards that. Negative point.
Big negative. Rough Nut and Tough Nut. We've been over that. They're not funny. They don't serve the role that they used to serve.
The opposite dynamic of one of them being, like, them being different looking,
yes,
does work if all of the comedy is still there.
The comedy was still there.
Because a lot of the comedy revolves around them looking the same.
Yes.
And if they just clearly aren't, very funny. I'll give them that. But they drop most of the comedy, and a lot of the, it's like, can't even tell us apart. Like, I think that's in there once instead of several times.
Right.
So,
Gobber.
the accent missing is a huge negative.
Huge negative.
Some of the hand things that he has are cool. He has some cool hand things that are different from the cartoon. I like those. Mm-hmm. But the character as a whole doesn't feel as good.
He doesn't serve the same role.
True.
In the story. He doesn't have...
He does still have the razor sharp steel, molten
Molten steel, razor sharp blades, loads of time to himself. What could possibly go wrong?
Like, he still has that. But your Russian accent shows that his Scottish accent wasn't even there.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
'cause you defaulted to a Russian because he didn't even have an accent.
He didn't even have an accent!
He's just British guy number 5.
Exactly.
And that was sad.
Excuse me, barmaid.
Missing entirely. Negative point towards the movie. It's why it's a 6 out of 10 instead of a 7.
It needs to be there. Because it's not just this funny...
It's not just funny. It's his state of mind. It's the way that he sees his father. Excuse me, barmaid. I think you brought me the wrong
offspring.
I ordered an
extra large boy with beefy arms, extra guts, and glory on the side.
This here is a talking fish bone.
That's what he thinks his dad thinks about him.
His dad doesn't think that about him, but he's not all that far off either, though.
Right.
His dad doesn't see him as a permanent. This is how he is. He sees him as this is how he is now. Right.
Exactly.
But Hiccup doesn't get that. Hiccup doesn't get that. That's how he sees me right now, and he wants me to get better. He sees himself as a failure because of that.
Correct.
And by dropping it entirely, A, we missed the comedy. B, just the state of mind that you have and are able to glean from that.
Yeah.
Then immediately after, it's like it's not what's inside.
It's not so much what you look like. It's what's inside that he can't stand.
Thank
you for summing that up.
Like, that's still there. But it doesn't work if this here is a talking fish bone. Because he's talking about exterior and how he looks in terms of like the beefy arms and extra guts and glory on the side, right? So Gabber takes that and says, well, it's not how much you look, it's just kind of what you're doing, right? Thank you for summing that up.
Right.
I just want to be one of you guys, right? Like,
that line isn't in there.
It is.
No, it's not the same.
It doesn't say it quite the same, and it doesn't hit nearly as hard.
It doesn't hit the same.
Because of the excuse me barmaid not being there.
Correct.
Because the excuse me barmaid, he has that sing-songy. But then, I just want to be one of you guys. He drops it.
Sad. It's this, I just want to be one of you guys.
Stop trying so hard to be something you're not.
Right.
Just want to be one of you guys.
Boom.
It hits, but it nowhere near as hard because we're missing excuse me barmaid.
Correct.
It would have worked better.
Trolls exist.
Dropping that entirely, Gabber's not as funny. Minus points.
The word Viking being used exactly 5 times, but not in all of the most critical scenes where they need to say, I am a Viking. We are Vikings. It's an occupational hazard. That line is not in this movie. That line is not in the movie.
I can't give it a 6.5 out of 10. I have to give it a 5.5 out of 10 though.
The fact that line, it's not even just that line's like a haha funny, we're Vikings, it's an occupational hazard. It's a callback. It starts with Stoic saying we're Vikings, it's an occupational hazard, to, at the end of the movie, Hiccup says, or Stoic is talking to his son, he says, you don't have to go up there. And Hiccup looks at his dad and says, we're Vikings. It's an occupational hazard.
Right.
I'm proud to call you my son, right? That is a setup and a payoff, and it's not there.
Well, it's like, you're not my son. I'm proud to call you my son.
Mm-hmm.
That works still. That still works. But it could be better with your occupational hazard.
Yes.
Right? But the overall, as a positive, not an addition, unfortunately. So it doesn't get to be on your list. But as a positive, the you're not my son transition to the I'm proud to call you my son. Gerard Butler does an amazing job with that still.
Absolutely.
Right? So not on the list of new additions that are good, but on the continuing from the previous editions of it's still good.
The whole scene where Hiccup is standing over the downed dragon and he monologues to himself.
He monologues out loud consistently throughout the movie, and in the new one he does not.
He does not.
Almost at all.
That is such an important scene. I'm going to kill you, dragon. I'm going to cut out your heart and take it to my father. I am a Viking. I am a Viking. Why is that gone? Why does that... No. That's a very important... That is the most important character moment for Hiccup, probably.
As a character moment, he says, I'm a Viking. Like, he steals his resolve, and he still is unable to do it.
That is the moment in his life where he goes from being a Viking, I just want to be one of you guys, to I think we should have more bread-making Vikings. Mm-hmm. That is a complete change of character.
For sure.
And it's just not there.
Mm-hmm. Why? The scene is the same length.
Scene is the same length, and it's the same thing. He's just not talking.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason for that. The part where he's walking through the forest, and he says, like, some Vikings lose their favorite knife or their mug. No, not me. I managed to lose an entire dragon. Whack!
And it slaps
It's not
him,
there.
and he looks, and it's like, oh, the tree's broken, and he sees. That's how he finds Toothless in the first place.
In the live action, he just walks into it.
He walks into the tree.
He just walks into the tree.
Just for free. Yep. No, that is worse.
Yes, much worse. The Viking gathering scene, we already talked about.
The Viking gathering scene could have been handled, like, basically as is. Stoic just doesn't need to make fun of people. And then I think it's still fine.
Right.
As an addition, like, obviously it is a required addition for it to be allowed for there to be so much diversity. But as an addition, it's not bad. Except for Stoic making fun of people, it doesn't make sense.
Well, and it also changes the entire reason Burke exists. It says that rather than Burke being an outpost that's plagued by dragons, Burke is a dragon hunting colony set on this island specifically because it's close to the nest. It changes the entire origin of Burke. It's fine.
As an addition, though, as a change, the change is not egregious enough without it, like, without explanation. Like, obviously, it is a change, but in terms of how different it makes the story, not really. But and that also, like, explains more of the, like, why there are other dragon's nests then, allowing for, like, the dragon nest in number 2 to be a little bit easier explained as a, like, there are other dragon's nests, because if we have other, like, guilds essentially of dragon hunters who've all gathered to hunt this dragon's nest, right? That all makes a little bit more sense as an overarching trilogy story,
Right.
and I think that's fine. But Stoic making fun
Stoic
of people
making
in that
fun of
scene
people
really,
in that, yeah.
'cause,
Wrong.
I mean, Gerard Butler still does Stoic very well in that.
Mm-hmm.
He plays it almost like the scene from the stall in number 2, where he's like, you know, the chief's first duty is to his people. He plays it almost like that.
Mm-hmm.
And to help a little bit with the lightheartedness, because he is still making fun of people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that was his decision to add that, right?
Right.
That's definitely more of like we need a scene to explain why people are, like, here.
Right.
Right. Which is unfortunate.
The library scene. I think we've talked that to death.
Just worse.
Just worse in every way.
Not in every way.
Yes.
I like the way that they have the book, like, slotted into, like, this encompassing slot. Like, you need someone to unlock it.
Okay.
But also, though, on the other hand, how is Fish Legs read it 5 times if it's fucking locked
Exactly.
away? Right?
Exactly.
So, it's like, it's a 50-50. You could have more of, like,
Or Astrid King had the line where she says, read it if it's locked in a... like...
I was going to read it, but not anymore.
I was going... yeah.
Why read words when you can just kill the things that the words tell
Kill
you
the
about?
stuff the words tell you stuff about. Right. Opening scene, they don't explain Hiccup's name. The whole opening monologue is changed, and it's all worse.
For the most part, yes.
They get rid of the Meridian of Misery, located 5 degrees south of freezing to death. They get rid of ugly names to ward off gnomes and trolls. Mm-hmm. They get rid of old village, lots and lots of new houses as the fire comes down.
And
right?
collapses the building.
Yep, they got rid of all of that. It all sucks. Fish Legs. He's 90% Fish Legs.
It's close enough that I think that if all of the comedy had been left in, it would have been ignorable, if not perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
But it's not quite there because of it.
And his head feels a little small.
I think it's fine. I think that, like, even in the cartoon, his head's a little bit small for his body because he's kind of fucking fat.
Yeah.
Like, that's the whole point of that character. That character is the fat nerd character that represents people like us. Right?
Yes. Shut up.
You had to think about that for a second.
The Gronkle. I did not like the redesign or the pug pilled. I don't like how much more pug it was.
It's not awful. It is a little bit too pug for it to be more like scary dragon, but on the other hand, like, it's like killing a Gronkle would surely get me noticed.
Yeah.
Like,
but its wings also don't sound like a bee like flapping. It doesn't have that kind of droning sound.
oh yeah,
It doesn't drone.
That's fine. I think as an audio choice, not having like a drone in your movie is fine in my book.
It's fine.
Droning is annoying, and especially with like how many people are watching movies on like things like streaming services that like as an audio thing, you don't really want droning on things like streaming services.
Right.
Even with how internet is getting nowadays, like the average internet in the United States is around that 25 megabit per second now at this point. Like that's kind of like towards your average, like not even that expensive anymore.
Right.
And for a little bit more, you can get 50, 60, even 100 for not all that much. And most places are offering gigabit internet for not a crazy amount. As an audio thing, for streaming services, you don't want droning.
Yes.
Because your average user, if you have to account for all users across all experiences, because in the movie theater it'd be fine, but on your phone, on your laptop, on the TV, through a streaming service, if your internet's a little bit whack that day, or if the streaming service is having issues, droning can be super annoying or broken.
Yes.
And audio is a huge thing. The audio, for the most part, was very well done. The droning being missing is a negative against the Gronkel, but not a negative against the audio
sound
design.
yes.
Yeah. It's a negative against the Gronkel specifically.
Because it impacts their character.
Yeah,
right?
their character is that they're more like bee-shaped. Like, all known laws of aviation
state that a bee should not be able to fly. That's like fish legs in the Gronkel.
Yeah.
But it does it anyway.
Because fish legs is clearly way too big to be right the Gronkel, actually. But the Gronkel does not care because it's a Gronkel. It's too stupid to know it can't fly.
Correct.
Right? So not having the bee drone from its wings does miss the character beat, but that's not a knock against the audio design. That's a knock against the character design.
Correct. The Monstrous Nightmares sound design was off.
I feel like it could have been a little bit more guttural, a little bit more bassy.
Since
it looks so much better.
It looks so much better.
All that much
it
better.
doesn't sound.
That's a knock against the audio design in that case, not a character thing.
Correct. And it's not like it's bad. It's actually serviceable, and the sound design would have passed in the other film. But since the Monstrous Nightmare got this like really demonic,
they look much better. Yeah.
And then the sound design is just it didn't keep up. A lot of dead airtime. We talked about that.
The dead airtime comes from the adaptation being live action.
Yes.
You can't move quite as quickly without it looking janky or weird or just outright uncanny.
Right.
Obviously, you can move quite quickly, but then you're clearly moving quickly, and that doesn't work for something like live action, so fair enough.
The Dragon Manual, I forget what they called it.
Yeah, clearly worse because we didn't even remember.
Trial of Flame.
Okay, the Trial of Flame, the name is cool, but welcome to Dragon Training. They say that on the DVD when you click on bonus features.
Welcome to Dragon Training. That's it. It's simple. Why are we changing? It doesn't need to change. It's just one of those details. It's like, why? Well, it's not better.
Some of it's the addition of the multi-cultures and everyone's from somewhere else.
Every culture can have dragon training. You don't need a trial of flame.
Yeah, that's the only reason they changed it, though, in my opinion.
Test drive shaky cam.
Shaky cam is annoying always.
Really bad.
It's one of the main reasons why things like there's a couple movies recently that have done very well. Things like Dunkirk and the other World War. I think there's a World War I movie where it is shot in one take, but it's that they've done very explicit and crazy camera work to ensure that you cannot notice cuts. And one of that main things is with the ability to do one take, you can't have a shaky cam because otherwise people will think either, especially if your shaky cam is moving around, it looks like cuts a lot of times, right? And a lot of times it is just cuts with the shaky cam. So shaky cam we've known and we've seen usually doesn't work. There's a couple places where it works. Very visceral hand-to-hand combat between someone who's perfectly evenly matched and is currently losing, and because they're evenly matched, is having a hard time getting up in an upper hand.
Mm-hmm.
And something like your Mission Impossibles, or like that style of film, it works fine. But
Test Drive?
and for Test Drive, it was a very smooth and fluid animation. Moving it to shaky cam for the live action was very, very weird. Downright an odd choice, because you don't really notice a lot of the intricacies with shaky cam that are still present. They've not removed a lot of the intricacies from the flight scene,
Right.
but it's harder to see them because of the shaky cam, and you're a little bit more taken out of it because it's clearly a camera thing, right? It's like, oh, we're filming it. I'm holding the camera. I don't care.
Well, like one of the things, so the reason that I love riding motorcycles so much is in the original How to Train Your Dragon, when they dive down and they fall and then they have to trust each other, every so often it stops and it zooms in on just Hiccup's foot and it does the click, and then it switches to the tail and it flicks out, and then it lets you see 3 seconds of them maneuvering, and then it flicks back to the toe, back to the tail, 3 seconds of flight. This one is just all over the place all the time. And when you're riding a motorcycle, you do that. You pull in your lever, then you shift the gear, then you let out the clutch. There's a step 1, step 2, step 3, and then you're in gear, right? And then you fly for a little bit. You accelerate. Then your revs get high, and then you shift. It's not constantly shaky, I'm constantly shifting, it's step 1, step 2, foot,
If you're not
tail.
smooth with it, you're going to obliterate something.
Correct.
Probably your clutch, or you're going to obliterate the
Your
bike.
dragon. Yeah, exactly. And so there's no reason for shaky cam there. Other thing with Test Drive.
Shaky cam could have been cool in a couple places, but Test Drive was not it.
Correct.
They could have done shaky cam for Hiccup running away from the monstrous nightmare in the beginning.
Yes.
Had it been more of like a POV almost.
Yes.
Of him sprinting, and so you get his perspective, the POV, right, of Hiccup as he runs away from the monstrous nightmare, and then just kind of like, you don't need to stay in it entirely, but
Right.
then the look around, have the camera like detach. And have him be like, oh, the monstrous nightmare is on me.
Except for you.
Yeah, and then POV, you could do some shaky cam there, and it wouldn't be awful.
Right.
But, for Test Drive, it doesn't work, because it was very explicitly a smooth, they get better as they do it, and it's very smooth, right?
Test Drive paper catch.
Very
Bullshit. There is no way you drop it, it flies off. First of all, paper has a different terminal velocity than you. It has different aerodynamics. There's no way you drop it, fall back down, and then in the panic of that, manage to catch it. In the animated film, they did it very simply. Because
I catch it before it leaves,
but
that's why we fall off.
Because Hiccup has to lose it to trigger the fall, but he also has to have that piece of paper so that he can have the scene where he's trying to read it, he can't, and he has to fly by instinct. That's a beautiful scene. So both of those events have to happen. He has to have it, he has to lose it, and then he has to regain it. You do not write that scene as he completely loses it and then manages to catch it midair somehow. He has no air control. He has no idea how to skydive. There is no chance in hell he gets the paper back.
Well, not yet, of course.
Yeah.
But
second movie, he gets his own wingsuit. And then,
well, maybe that's a like a way of them subtly hinting towards it, but it doesn't work.
It doesn't
the way
work.
they're handling it. Yeah, I'll give you that.
Test Drive Toothless. The reason I have this on here is
The spinning.
there's the spinning. All of Toothless's character is gone in Test Drive. He is just a vehicle, and you notice
that's
that
not good. Yeah.
because in the animated film, when they fly through the rocks and and Hiccup hits into the rock, right? He's like, "Sorry, that's my fault." Hiccup or Toothless slaps him.
Well, it's
like,
because
"Hey."
they do it it's because Hiccup does it a second time.
Correct. Hiccup does it a second time, and Toothless slaps him.
It's like, sorry, my bad. Position 2, 3.
Position 4, 3,
Yeah.
right? He messes up again. Toothless slaps him. There's the character moment, right? It's like, bro, like,
Figure it out.
Figure it out. You're throwing me into a wall here, like, I got it, but figure it out. And then when he's falling and he's spinning and he's panicking, and then there's the scene where they finally catch and they're coming down and Toothless gets this look on his eyes.
He's like,
panic.
oh,
He's
shit.
like, oh, shit. And Hiccup is panicking because it's like, oh, shit.
I can't read my thing.
And then Hiccup locks in.
And then the music clicks as he locks in.
Yes.
And now it's both of the leitmotifs for the main theme.
Yes.
As Test Drive. It's why it's when I say a magnum opus, is because each character has their leitmotif. You have the Stoic, the Village, the Fire Brigade, Hiccup, and Toothless.
Yes.
You don't hear Toothless's until, a quarter of the way through the movie for the first time, whereas you get all of the other leitmotifs as part of the intro, except for Toothless.
Yep.
Because even the Red Death has the dragon theme, right?
Yes.
So everyone except for Toothless gets their leitmotif, and then for Test Drive they merge them, and now you get not Hiccup's leitmotif, you not Toothless leitmotif, you get the theme.
Correct.
And it fits, and the music clicks in on that moment as they share they're gonna do it together.
Right. And
so
his
good.
face, you can see it on
And
his
you see
face.
it in their
It
face.
switches from panic to trust.
It's a click, and you don't get that because of the very, very rigid faces.
Correct. We already talked about Toothless feeling stiff. We talked about Toothless not
Hiccup
doing...
doesn't do that one as well either, though.
Yeah.
In the live action, Hiccup's face doesn't quite
do
convey
that.
that as well.
Yeah.
Some of that's because the actor knows that he'll be fine. As an actor, I think. Some of it's also just the camera work and the shaky cam still being a little bit present right there. Mm-hmm. So.
And it's like I told you, when you're riding your motorcycle, there's that moment where everything's panic and you just drop and you lock in. That moment when he throws the paper behind him hits so much harder in the animated than it does in the live action. Because in the live action, he just drops it. It's not like I'm throwing this out and
like, get rid of this shit.
He just drops it. Mm-hmm. The Toothless sit and the human walk. We talked about that. He's not very human. We talked about the kidnap. Oh, there's one other thing about the kidnapping scene we didn't talk about. Number one, it doesn't start on a tree, right? He has the "thank you for nothing for you useless reptile" line. Thankfully, he has that line.
And now the spinning.
Thank you for nothing, right? One of the best parts of that scene, the moment when Hiccup wins over Astrid, is when they're flying under the clouds and they come across Burke. And they fly over the village in the night. Remember, and there's all those tikis out in the water and they're lit with fire. Mm-hmm. And that's when she hugs him. That's when she leans in and she's like, this is awesome. They don't show Burke at all during the love flight scene.
That's a lot of work.
They don't show Burke at all.
I know, it's probably just a lot of work for the CG team. I
don't care. That's if you want a moment to show off your island of Burke, that is the moment to do it, and they don't do it. We already talked about Astrid doing the shot calling, Astrid being in the teeth, which is really weird. We talked about the Vikings fighting in the fog. We talked about the Stoic door slam. I mentioned this a little bit, but there's too many flight scenes before Test Drive. Test Drive is supposed to be the first flight. Everything else is supposed to feel like playtesting. But there's too many flight scenes before.
I don't...
It's just...
Is there any where they're not tethered, though? I thought they were all tethered.
No, yeah, there's a couple where they're not tethered. When they're flying up the waterfall, that's when they land in the field of flowers.
Oh,
they're flying through rocks and then up a waterfall.
Because part of the reason why they have the issue is they're tethered in the tether brakes.
In the tether brakes.
That's why they're in the field in the first place.
That's not how they get there in this movie. They're flying through rocks and stuff, and then he misinputs, and they end up flying up a cliff, and then there's through a waterfall, and then they land in the field. That flying scene shouldn't be there. It's not playtesting.
No, I don't like that. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Hiccup's shield gets stuck.
It does
It
not
doesn't.
have live action.
Why? That is.
It's integral.
It's a minor detail, but it is so critical. Because at that moment, Hiccup has to say, "Oh shoot! The one thing I learned in dragon training: if you must make a choice between a sword or shield, take the shield." He does. He listens. He learns.
He takes the shield instantly because he's a failure. On the spot. Shield is stuck. Cannot get out.
He still continues to go forward despite the fact he lost his shield. That's a character moment. Should have been in there.
Well, it's a stubborn and boneheaded as you ever were, right? He's the same as his father. He's just built a little bit different.
A lot different.
Yeah. He's still stubborn.
Gobber's line, always go for the kill, doesn't hit the same because there's like 5 more seconds of dead air. In the animation it goes, a dragon will always go for the kill. Singeing, so why didn't you? There's like an extra 5 seconds in the live action where it's just like sitting there staring at it. It's just one of those weird things.
Also, though, I don't feel like Hiccup delivered that line quite as well.
Right.
But some of that's just like so why didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. His tone travels quite a bit when he asks that, because it is a question that he's asking as a genuine, like, what the hell, right?
Well,
versus in the live action, it's more of just like, he needs to say that line because
right.
he needs to say that line. And that's not quite as good when you think about it like that.
And I think you touched on this. In the animated movie, Hiccup monologues to himself frequently. That's a character
Very
thing.
frequently, yeah.
In the live action, he doesn't. And so when he's talking out loud and he says, so why didn't you?
It breaks the not monologuing, because he monologues a lot.
Correct, exactly.
It is not a part of his thing. Like, his comedy is a coping mechanism. It's not just comedy for comedy's sake, like with the twins or Fish Leg or like those characters being the comedy relief.
Mm-hmm.
His monologuing and comedy is the way that he copes. He talks to himself because he's not going to talk to anyone else. He's not
right.
like anyone else. He uses comedy because, like, it's like if someone will laugh at him, they're not like messing with him. They're laughing at him instead, right?
Right.
So,
there's the line when they're in the volcano that Astrid says in the animated, that's nice to know all of our food is being dumped down a hole. She doesn't say that in the live action. They don't make any comment about the fact that all of their food is being dumped down a hole. Which is fine,
also,
except that
Gronkle, I think is it done differently? The Gronkle doesn't drop the half-eaten fish down the hole and then immediately get chomped, but because like it's almost like the way that I'm remembering it from the live action, which I might be merging the two almost. Like the Red Death almost just like swings up and like almost chomps on Toothless as he flies out.
Correct.
Which is just wrong, and it doesn't fit nearly as well because in the cartoon, the way that it's handled, it eats the Gronkle.
Yes.
And now it's still up, and it sees Toothless out of the corner of the eye.
In the animated, it leaps up to try and catch Toothless specifically because Toothless didn't drop any food in.
Yeah, because so it sees Toothless, and it's like, you didn't drop shit. I'm gonna. So it goes for Toothless.
Yes.
Then they leave as it goes to the wall. In the live action, it goes up to get Toothless, which doesn't make as much sense.
Correct.
Because it didn't see Toothless initially. We don't see that POV. It eyes straight to the...
Correct.
Because it wouldn't have known if the Gronkle hadn't eaten the
wouldn't have
Gronkle.
seen-
And
right.
it didn't eat the Gronkle, did it?
It did in the live action.
It did, but it doesn't fit.
It's not the same scene. It's wrong.
It's just different enough that it doesn't quite fit.
Correct.
Like the thing that it's trying to say doesn't make as much sense as the cartoon.
I've lost power on the Gronkle. We talked about that. It needs to be there. We talked about the night village scene.
Well, I lost power on the Gronkle fits that character so well because he's the stats guy. There's no more power left. He's used all of the energy.
Well, and the voice is a lot. There's a lot of panic in that moment too that isn't there.
Oh yeah, the panic is wild, and I'm okay. Less okay.
Less okay.
Right. That's still there at least, and it's pretty well done, but could be better.
Now, this next one is very much a nitpick, but Astrid axe throwing. She's throwing hatchets instead of her dual-sided battle axe. Why? I get it's probably for safety. You probably can't throw a double-sided axe in real life.
No, you can. First of all, as a nitpick, it is a fair nitpick, but realistically, it's entirely because of the actor. The same reason why the axe isn't quite as large or heavy for Hiccup, it's probably something to do with that. Like, her throwing the axe probably was not a feasible, realistic option for her in real life, the way that it would work in the cartoon, because everyone is stronger in the cartoon than they are in real life.
Well, and then in that scene also, the reason she stops throwing
is because she's literally aiming right at Hiccup, basically. Like, Hiccup is in the way of the tree that she's going to throw at. She's like, excuse me?
In the live action, he's just walking down a path behind her.
And she sees him, and that's not quite as good because of it.
Not correct. Why... This is also a nitpick. Why is Hiccup's bola catapult double-barreled?
On the other hand, that was funny. It's because it's like new and improved. It's double barrel.
Right, but why is it new and improved? Like, yes, if you've seen the first movie and then you see the second one, you're like, oh, look, it's got 2 barrels now. It makes no sense.
No. As a sense thing, it never made sense. Like, you can't even throw one of these. Well, that's what I have this for.
Hits the guy right in the head.
It just whiffs in the live action.
Yeah, it whiffs. And then the second one hits
No. That's why it's funny. I like it. It's like it whiffs, but it's double barrel, so it still hits. Right? I like the double barrel.
I don't.
As a very silly, funny thing, right? It changes barely anything about it by just making it double barreled. It's just a funny thing, right? Like, as a change, it means nothing, and it really adds or subtracts nothing as well. But also, the first one whiffing, and then the second one doming the guy in the head, is like just an instant, like, still funny. So, changes nothing, adds nothing. It's an addition that is made for unknown reasons, as it, like I said, changes nothing. So, moving on.
The whole opening Forge scene has the wrong tone. And what I mean by that is, when you walk in and you see Gobber and Hiccup and they're interacting with each other, it's very much a master-apprentice relationship, but the master respects the apprentice. You get that from the animated one. What, who, me? I thought you'd been carried off. Oh no, I'm way too muscular for their taste. They wouldn't know what to do with all this. Well, they need toothpicks, don't they? Like, that's banter, they're big. That doesn't exist in the live action.
Sword, sharpen,
now. Well, and then there's the other scene or that other part of that scene where Hiccup is like, you, sir, are playing a dangerous game, keeping this much raw Vikingness contained.
I'll take my chances. Sword, sharpen, now.
In the live action, it feels like a genuine challenge. Like Hiccup is challenging Gobber.
Almost, yeah.
In the animation, it's not a challenge.
Some of it's the delivery between our Gobber and our Hiccup, between our live action and a cartoon. Because Jay Burchell gives that very sing-songy comedic effect to everything as part of that character's coping mechanism, whether that's like through the comedy and through what he's saying, versus it doesn't feel quite the same because it's more of a genuine conversation that it sounds like they're having. There's much less sarcasm vibing from either of them.
Correct. It's much more adversarial in the live action.
Yeah.
They're fighting.
The I'll take my chances is it's dripping with sarcasm in the cartoon.
Yes.
That you don't get as much of in the live action. You still get a little bit of it from the Gobber, but you get way, way too little of it from the Hiccup it's not matched sarcasm. I'll take my chances.
And the problem is it feels like in the live action, that scene makes me a little uncomfortable because Hiccup is challenging Gobber, and it's like, that's not what he does.
It feels like it a little bit, yeah.
Hiccup does not challenge Gobber. They're bickering amongst each other like coworkers.
Yeah, it's when I ask my boss, hey, can you grab me this thing? And she's like, no. While she's handing it to me.
Exactly.
It's that.
That is what Gobber and Hiccup are in the opening Forge scene.
Well, they've clearly been working together for a while. Hiccup has made a fucking bola launcher, and it's double barrel.
And it's in his workshop. And right.
And Gobber hasn't removed it or dismantled it. Gobber doesn't destroy or mess with any of Hiccup's shit ever.
Right.
He has his own area in the workshop. Right? He's clearly at least respected enough to have an area, right? Like, Gobber isn't, like, treating him poorly either, though.
Right.
Gobber never treats him poorly.
Never. Because in the animated, in the live action, he does.
A little bit, yeah. In the animated, Gobber and Hiccup are probably actually like closer in terms of the way that they are like.
Then Hiccup and his dad. Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially with like your movie too. Gobber's like, nah, I was never one for the ladies, right? Like Gobber is clearly the black sheep of like Vikings, the same way Hiccup is. He just found a different way around it,
Right.
like instead of like Hiccup's like in training dragons and all that, like Gobber found something different. He's still similar, but he's not the same as everyone else. He's definitely different, and Hiccup and Gobber are more alike than Hiccup and his father to start with.
Whole forge scene, I didn't like it. It was the wrong tone.
A little bit, yeah. Some of that's directing, some of that's just like the way that they're acting. And then in that scene in particular, the fire brigade as well
Is wrong.
as the dialogue there is slightly different and it doesn't quite match. Also, Astrid straight up like actually putting out the fire really kind of dulls that moment a little bit.
Yes.
Because the whole point was that she's done like, this great effort. She has her bucket.
A single bucket.
She has her single bucket. She turns around and then the house blows up.
Exactly. She's walking away from an explosion. Okay, that's the other thing.
She does the cool walk away from the
She does the cool walk away from the explosion. It's like, Astrid, and he's fawning over her. And then it cuts to Hiccup, and then it cuts back to her. It's still playing the beautiful, look at how beautiful she is. And then all of these ugly characters walk in, snort, like, behind, and it's this it's funny. Because you've got the beautiful girl doing a single bucket explosion, right, walking away from it. And
She's
then
done
this pretty girl.
And as the in her world, she's the main character. She just did everything she could. There's nothing more she could have done. I'm going away.
But now she's fire captain, and she's actually putting out the fire.
She dumps they have like an aqueduct almost.
Yeah, she breaks the aqueduct
to put out the house fire, which is like, damn, bro. This sucks.
Well, and then the
It's
other
just
thing is, in the live action, they start commenting about it. Like, Gobber looks at Hiccup and goes, "Oh, Astrid, you must be mental, right?" Like, no. Hiccup and none of the fire brigade talk until after the battle when they're making fun of Hiccup. That is not their scene to be introduced. That is just...
No, but they do get their leitmotif though. That's the whole point.
Yes.
And then Astrid's leitmotif as well.
Yes.
It's a musical introduction rather than a character introduction, which matters a lot more because when at the end of the movie they're having their battle, the fire brigade leitmotif plays again.
Yes.
And it's the friends, right?
Right.
So
yeah, so that the whole opening scene is just wrong right from the get-go. You've got the pacing with Gobber and the forge.
Just enough of it slightly, and the some of the little changes. It's the minor subtractions and the minor additions have added up to large changes over the course of the movie, and it doesn't work because of it.
Yep. The ending, and what I mean by that is the very, very end where they're doing this is Burke, the second time. It also flounders. It also is not...
Oh, yeah. Only a little bit less, but that's because there was less to begin with for the ending part. So
right.
It was fine.
It's just
like out of like, if we say that the ending part was 10 out of 10 in the original for that section, this one was like 7, 8 out of 10.
Yeah.
So it's not a crazy amount worse, but it was a small section to begin with that is only changed a little bit.
Right.
So it's not a crazy drop in performance.
Right.
It's like going from, medium to high settings on like an older title. Like, with a modern hardware, for the most part, you can handle it. You'll drop a couple frames, maybe, if that. But,
There's also the part at the end when all the villagers are standing around Hiccup after he's just waking up, and then you hear a door opening in the back, and then you hear the same guy from the beginning of the movie, "Night Fury, get down!" And then Toothless jumps on top of everyone, is like, "Hi."
and jumps wing.
Yes, there's no Night Fury get down at the end. Why? Because it's not the right tone. It's a callback.
From
The beginning of the movie starts with
three
Night
times.
Fury
They
get
say
down.
it 3 times.
Yes.
They say it once at the beginning.
Yes.
Before it obliterates the catapult.
Yes.
Second, during dragon training, when Toothless invades the monstrous Night Fury battle to save Hiccup.
And,
then
there's
the
a
third
fourth time, actually, during the Red Death battle.
Oh, as well, yeah.
Yeah, there's that one. And then the fourth is Night Fury get down, but it's like, wait, we're in a friendly village, what's going on? And it's Toothless, like...
But Night Fury is still a huge deal to them, still. Even with the dragons being friends now.
Yes.
Night Fury still...
He's still going to get on top of everyone and trounce them because he's going to see his person.
Yes.
Yeah. So that should have been there. Yonzi talked about that makes me mad. Let's see.
To be fair, you're easily offended.
Yeah. We already talked about it, the whole Hiccup meeting Toothless scene, the part where he's the downed dragon, he's not talking himself down. That scene is just wrong. It's
Toothless, the eyes do work there. It's because a lot of it isn't the facial movement, so the rigid face doesn't affect that as much as some of the other scenes. But the eyes are, they do a good job there. And you can see Hiccup in the reflection of Toothless's eyes, actually.
Yep.
Which you couldn't in the original because that's an animation limiter. But in live action, and after 15 years have passed for computer technology, just a little bump in visual quality there does do wonders. If he talked it through, it would have been better.
We talked about the "why don't you just fly away?" That line is not in there, and it absolutely should have been. We talked about the Dragon Island Guardians. Go ahead. You had something to say?
No, I like the Dragon Island Guardians, but only if it had cut to the ships exploding scene from the outside of the fog
With the Dragon Guardians.
So you don't get to see if Stokes going to survive or not either, though.
Right.
It doesn't just cut. You just are left with that, oh, are they all dead now? It's like, oh no.
Mm-hmm. We already talked about some of the men, not me, are wondering the whole Gobber scene gone.
Poor Gobber. Gobber was character assassinated.
He really was.
And so were the twins. They were just assassinated in their sleep for sure.
Astrid's pep talk.
Astrid's pep talk
was well delivered, but the script was not
not
as sharp.
Not quite as sharp. Like I said, I don't think that was a race-related casting. I think that was this person's really good, and they don't look that far off. So yeah, let's go with them.
Yep.
But could have just given her a blonde wig. I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
A blonde wig would have gone a long way, especially for the scene where when Toothless catches Astrid, her hair is flowing behind her.
Yeah.
And she smiles at him, and he smiles back.
He does smile back.
He tries to smile for Hiccup.
Doesn't look
but
good.
He does smile, and it still doesn't look good, but it's a full smile for
It's
Astrid.
better.
Because he likes Astrid now.
Of course he
right?
does.
Right, because he took Astrid for the little ride. Now Astrid's his friend too. So.
Yeah.
But her hair not flowing definitely kind of doesn't give as much sense of a speed because it's just the braid and it's basically parallel against her.
Well, and I'll throw this out. This is another minor nitpick, but one of the things I always loved about the scene where Hiccup or Toothless catches Astrid on the way down is the maneuver he does. He flies in, he bombs the thing on the side, and then he soars back up, twists, and then backflips around down. He doesn't do that maneuver in the live action.
Toothless is crazy maneuverable in the cartoon.
Crazy maneuverable.
But also makes sense as part of his dragon status. Compared to the other dragons, a lot of the other dragons are very almost con-based characters. They're constitution-based for sure. Strength con. Dragons are mostly strength con, right?
Yes.
Except for Toothless, who is dex con.
Yes.
Right. So he's still tanky, but he's dex tanky instead of strength tanky.
Mm-hmm.
They've all got that 18, 20 kind of constitution ranks, but instead of having 20 strength and 10 dexterity, he's really looking at 15, 16 strength. He's definitely weaker. He's not a crazy amount. I mean, definitely not Red Death strong, but he's got 22 dex.
Right.
He is way more maneuverable than any other character.
And they don't show it off.
Yeah. Some of that's probably a limitation into the actor writing him, because that's a little bit hard as the actor writing. Whereas in the cartoon, you don't worry about that, right?
You just yeah. You can do a full backflip with Hiccup. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, he's locked in.
Exactly, right?
So,
go for it. Another part of Hiccup that is assassinated is at the end when Gobber is talking about his peg leg. He's like, I built that for you with a little bit of Hiccup flair thrown in. You think it'll do? And Hiccup says, I might make a few tweaks. Doesn't exist in the new movie. Why?
Unfortunate. I mean, that's a little comedy thing of like, also though, another one of those co-worker bickering back and forth.
Master apprentice. Exactly.
Like, my boss did a thing. Of course I can do it better.
I might make a few
but
tweaks.
only to their face.
Exactly.
I would never make fun of my boss if they were not in front of me.
Right.
Because that's not fair to them. They don't get a rebuttal, first of all. And also, I like my boss. They're nice.
Well, and it's that other thing of Gobber showing he cares about Hiccup. Because he's like,
oh, yeah.
I threw in a little Hiccup flair with a spring.
Because Gobber, straight peg leg.
Flat
arm.
Yes.
Hiccup has a spring.
There's a spring in it.
Right. Some crazy, like, shenanigan nonsense. Like heretical, crazy bullshit.
Right.
But he'll go for it, you know?
Right.
I mean, he built the Bola launcher, right?
Right.
So,
exactly. And it's just that, like, that's clearly
to
not
be fair,
Gobber's style.
On the other hand, as well, though, the very smooth, very well crafted, using Hiccup's notes and drawings for Toothless's new tale as well. It's not as good as the one that Hiccup makes for 2 and 3, obviously because it gets better and better as the trilogy goes on, but it is a significant upgrade with no positions. It is a flowing one, right?
Yes.
And it locks with the leg. So they're built together to go together.
Yeah.
And that's something that Gobber wouldn't do in the way that his character acts and feels. It doesn't feel natural for him to have done that for a Hiccup.
Right.
The way that they interact, at least. Obviously, we know, and like the vibe that is supposed to be there as a knowing thing, like it makes sense that he would do that. They're friends. I mean, Gobber's best friend is his dad, right? So that would work.
Yeah.
But the way that they interact in the live action is not displaying or conveying that effectively.
I think modern society has forgotten how to have coworker relationships.
Maybe.
You can tease each other. You can call each other shitheads. You can make fun of each other's work. That's not offensive. Like, that's workplace banter. That's okay. It's not harassment.
Yeah, as long as it's a mutual back and forth.
Right.
You're not a group of people targeting one individual.
Right.
Because then that's no fun anyways, first of all. If you have 10 people and you're making fun of one person, it's kind of boring. They can't fight back, really.
Well, unless you're a workplace and everyone in the workplace knows, hey, you're the guy who dumped lettuce on your head day one, right? And then everyone's making fun of you.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's a workplace relationship that, like, in 2010...
Also, everyone has something that they've done that was kind of stupid.
Exactly.
Because you're at work, and sometimes you do stupid things because you're at work.
Now, this right here is exactly what I'm talking about. Minor calibration. That's exactly what would happen in a workplace if you had done something stupid.
It's like...
Mild calibration issue. It's like, no. This is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's workplace, and that...
It is definitely workplace banter. Also, though, very uncle. It's an uncle feeling as well.
Yeah.
That it's more of like that master apprentice, the like boss man feel. It's not as much coworker feel in the live action, which is unfortunate. Because the uncle feeling, the coworker feeling that they have, definitely works. Especially for the uncle feel, right? Uncle coworker, and that definitely works as the trilogy progresses for the uncle feeling. So,
we already talked about the whole Hiccup already killed a Night Fury. Weird that they left that comment in, given that they were trying to get rid of humor. But it's a great line. I'm glad they did. But it's the fact that Gobber speaks to the group instead of pulling Hiccup to the side. That's wrong. Let's see.
You know what though? Some of it's just, now that I've Googled him, I'm like, Craig Ferguson, that man's funny. And I think a lot of the lines are his. I'd have to look and see if they are
Is in the script or if it was...
Because that's one of those things where when you're making a movie like How to Train Your Dragon, right, a lot of it comes from just like a place of that kind of creativity, right? So having the actors be like, you know, this would be funny. Here's what I've got to say. What if I said this instead? It conveys the same meaning, but it's funny.
Right.
It's like, I can give Hiccup a pep talk by saying, it's like, oh, they'll go after
the more Viking-like teens instead.
Yeah, it's like, very funny, conveys the same message of, you're going to be okay.
Right.
Right. Without having to explicitly say, I'll make sure you're okay.
Right.
Right. So, I wonder just how many of the lines are his versus how many of the lines are the writers, or if any of the lines are his, and maybe it's just like they had good writers, because that does happen. We have good films.
Right.
It's not like every film is bad, right?
Right.
It's not like even this film is bad across the board, right? There are the little things that the writers have added that are good, like the interaction between Saad and his father, right?
Right.
Those are the little things that, not all of everything is awful. Right? We kind of have that dichotomy now a little bit as a society where we kind of treat everything like it's good, bad, or good and evil. Mm-hmm. But it's not really like that. Like, especially for the average normal person, like most 99% of people are.
Right.
Like, things are just normal for normal people.
Right.
Normal people aren't racist. Normal people aren't sexist. Normal people aren't looking at things and just saying this is good or this is bad. There is nuance on everything.
Right.
So it's like
not having the trolls exist. That's just bad. That is just, there's no nuance there.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
We already talked about the In My Undies, where Vikings, it's an occupational hazard. That automatically loses it like 0.1 of a star. Like, that's just,
out of 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Like a quarter of a star out of 10.
Mm-hmm. The Deadly Natter. So if you remember in the animated, during the training scene, the Natter like flings its tail, or no. Snotlout throws the mace and it misses.
Completely whiffs, yeah.
The Natter looks at him and laughs.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't do that in live action. It doesn't look at him and go, ah! Right? It does that little haha, you missed.
He literally almost kind of like, it's not jumping, but like he ups and downs, the Deadly Natter, kind of like, ha ha ha.
Ha ha.
I was like, fucking dumbass.
Yeah.
And then, the sun.
The sun was in my eyes, Astrid.
What do you want me to do?
Block out the sun? I could do that.
Right? Like, so,
yeah.
it's like, that's also a little comedy thing that they left in for some reason. Like, that doesn't fit right there, actually. In the live action, it doesn't really fit there.
Right.
Also, Astrid is a lot more serious, so it doesn't fit there as well anyways.
Exactly.
Astrid's just as comedic as Hiccup, but in a very different way, and much more specific in when she chooses to use her comedy.
Like when she hits him with the axe, that's for kidnapping me. That's funny, but it's not...
And it works because she's not an asshole.
Right, exactly.
Also, she's already been, she does that twice, right, back to back, before the kidnap and after the kidnap. And the dichotomy is, going from that place of not understanding to the place of understanding. And that works because she's not an asshole.
She's still doing the same, she's still abusing him.
Oh, yeah. But it's also a comedic thing because in the second time in both times she's doing it, it's not out of a spite, rage. It's almost like a reprimand that you would give a small dog that pissed on the floor.
Yeah.
And just grab it by the neck and put it in its face why? Why have you done this?
Right.
You don't have to do it all that often, if ever, maybe once, and it works. You need to do it twice and the dog understands. This is not something you're supposed to do.
Right.
If that's what she's done. She hits him, honk, and then she kisses him it's the consequences of his actions. He hits the first time, it's consequences negative.
Let me make it crystal clear. I'm not okay with you kidnapping me, but that was kind of cool.
Yeah, the consequence of your action is negative, and then the consequences of your action, positive and negative.
Right.
Both.
I told you this, because they tuned down the twins fighting, the Zippleback also doesn't fight amongst itself.
The Zippleback fighting in all 3 films is actually some of the funnier, because it's entirely dialogueless. It's just them doing... Also, them getting tied up in the later films only works if they're bickering back and forth in the first place.
Yes!
Because...
Well, and there's the one scene in the first movie where the Zippleback turns one head upside down.
And they're bothering each other.
And the two heads look at each other and they're like,
What are we
doing? Right? But the twins are like in it, and so the Zippo-Black's like, alright, do it, yeah, I'll turn my head upside down, screw it, why not? It doesn't exist.
Yeah, the bickering back and forth is missed sorely.
Another line from one of the twins, oh, I'm hurt, I am very much hurt. It's in there.
It's just not as good.
Not great delivery, and it doesn't happen the second time when he gets hit by the deadly matter. Or the terrible terror.
That's like the size of my... Ah! I'm hurt.
Exactly. I already said the whole thing felt scripted, right? Like with the dragons, they just felt very on the rails. The sun was in my eyes, Astrid.
Was just slightly worse.
Oh, the line. Okay, right at the end when Astrid is talking to Hiccup before he goes into the ring. And in the animated movie, Hiccup says, just please promise me they won't find Toothless. And she says, okay, just promise me it won't go wrong. Right?
If it goes wrong, promise me that
they won't find Toothless. And Astrid says,
honestly, it won't go wrong.
That line is missing. Hiccup does not say anything about Toothless in that final scene. He does not mention his dragon at all.
Also, though, they kind of built her character to be kind of an asshole, so it doesn't work as well anyways right there.
Exactly.
In that moment.
Yeah.
I think that they made it feel a little bit shorter, timeline-wise. Like, the I'll See You Tomorrow doesn't feel like it covers quite as many days. Just kind of. That might just be a feeling. It might literally just have the same number of days that are cut through. But I feel like because we miss the night scene, it feels a little bit shorter maybe.
Yeah.
But the feeling is weeks that I get. Like, it's not a couple of days. So she doesn't go from... She's never really an asshole in the cartoon.
Right.
So the several weeks of her slightly warming up to Hiccup, it doesn't feel as jarring.
Right.
I think that's really what it is. Is that she starts off in that place more of that asshole type because she starts more on that line. She kind of doesn't. It feels a little bit more jarring to go from that place.
Right. I don't like that in the live action. Like, there's in the animated. When Toothless intervenes in the Monstrous Nightmare fight, he does end up fighting like half the village. But that scene is drawn out in the live action, where like Toothless is fighting all the villagers.
Well, he doesn't fight almost any of the villagers. He kind of just knocks them away.
He pushes them all away. But that scene is long. It's long. It's like 10 or 15 seconds longer than it needs to be of just Toothless decking all the villagers, and I don't know why. It's weird tonally. It's like...
Yeah, I'll give you that. But like the stop, so that before Toothless blasts Hiccup's father, that does still feel good.
Oh yeah, that part feels great.
Yeah, very well directed. Also, one of the huge tonal moments that they needed to get right, and so did, because I mean they knew not to get that wrong. But also, like, how do you know not to get things wrong and then still go and get things wrong?
And it's
like you have your entire notes section and they're detailed, and you still only got a C on the test because you weren't trying as hard as you could have been. You didn't just go through the notes a couple more times while you were taking the test. So,
another thing that's weird is in the library scene, when he's reading the entry on the Night Fury, because speed unknown, size unknown, the unholy offspring of lightning and death itself. Never engage this dragon. What's the next line?
Off the top of my head, I've forgotten.
It's because they cut it out of the live action. There's a line that's supposed to be there. It says, your only chance, hide and pray it does not find you.
Yeah, okay.
Why?
Wait, they cut that?
They cut
that.
Okay,
so I'm literally merging the two movies.
They cut that. They cut the line where it says, they got everything else exactly right. He says everything else except the punchline of the Night Fury. Your only chance, hide and pray it does not find you. Drop. That's when he drops the book. That's so much more impactful because
also,
that's...
The, he doesn't have the
notebook with him.
The notebook is with him. He drops it in the live action, right? But the Toothless drawing doesn't have the smudged. It's just not there.
Yep.
And it looks worse because of it.
Yep.
Because the smudge really does a long ways.
Mm-hmm.
Like the garbage tree trunk almost that is the pencil.
Another thing that's interesting about the library scene, I have another note here. Remember, we were talking about Gobber, and he's been completely decharacterized, right?
Yeah, the character assassination needs to be studied.
When Gobber is talking about Hiccup in the library, he says all it takes is one weak link. And then he calls out Hiccup. That's not what happens in the original.
Like, where did Hiccup go wrong in the ring today?
He showed up, he didn't get eaten, he's never where he should be. Thank you, Astrid. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then he goes, you need to live and breathe this stuff. No.
Dragon manual. Everything we know about every dragon we know of. They don't have that.
They don't, but
They
Gobber
changed
is
it.
specifically calling out Hiccup. He says all it takes is one weak link, and then the camera pans to Hiccup.
But the problem is, in the original, neither Stoic nor Gobber ever made fun of Hiccup for being Hiccup. They just wanted him to be better.
Correct.
And it wasn't, that's why he, like, they're never mean to him. Like, as the parent figures, as the
Correct.
figures, the adults are positive in this movie. They're not toxic or negative. But some of that, I think, is the quote-unquote detoxic masculinity that has been going on. Like, making the characters, like for Hiccup, he is a white man, so he will be talked down to, kind of thing.
Right.
I don't think that's like fully intended, but I think that's kind of just how it came across because of what was written.
Right.
If that was the intention for like the demasculinization, the detoxify, kind of weird choice. It doesn't really fit the way that the cartoon handled it. Was better because Gobber's not making fun of him.
Right.
He's just saying like, hey, you gotta just get it with it a little bit, you know?
Hey, listen, I love you to death.
But you're not where you're supposed to.
That's a very fatherly love. That's a
Uncle, right?
Yeah.
Gobber's the uncle.
Gobber is the uncle.
Easily, and it works really well in the cartoon, and it doesn't come through almost at all in
At
the live
all.
action. That, like I said, character assassination needs to be studied. MIT graduates getting their doctorate on that shit, and it wouldn't be hard, right?
Right.
It's kind of wild just how...
Even if he had the accent perfect, the lines of dialogue that he says are just wrong all the way through.
They're very aggressive almost even.
Yes.
Whereas that tone never happens. Like Gobber never has like that mean tone. Like it's almost like Gobber's poking fun at him, but he doesn't do that, and he's not really supposed to. It's the same kind of like as Stoic making fun of the other villagers. Not something Stoic would do. It's not something Gobber would have done either.
Right. So. One thing I have on here as a negative was the fortune telling thing, where the
fortune telling was fine. Having the
I get it.
Having the elder be in like mild fortune.
Why?
It's another one of those Viking nonsense things.
It just doesn't need to be in there.
It doesn't need to be. It didn't hurt anyone for having it be in there.
It does.
Because
it does hurt them.
They also do, like the.
Why in the first movie, in the animated movie, why do the Vikings agree to go on another voyage?
They think that they've almost found the nest, right?
No. Stoic is in there, and he says, one more search before the ice sets in. Now who's with me? Silence.
Well, he does.
And then he says, those who stay will look after Hiccup. Everyone's hands shoot up.
Yeah.
That's
so
the village showing their hatred for Hiccup.
It's not a hatred. It's more of like a disdain, like, ew.
Right. But that shows that Stoic, as a leader, is capable of taking a group of Vikings who don't want to do anything, and with one line of dialogue, the entire village is with him. Instead, now Stoic waits until the elder tells them that they'll be able to find it this time around. Like, no. Stoic doesn't wait for a sign. He doesn't say, if the fates are on our side. He says, we're going to search. Who's with me?
To be fair, Stoic knows what he was and what he would become.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So the fortune telling does hurt Stoic.
Yeah, I don't think it hurts the scene very much, but I think it hurts Stoic's
It hurts
character.
Stoic. Yes. It doesn't need to be there. Stoic needs to be
I think it
there.
could have been both.
It could have been both.
I think, honestly, if you'd be like, will we find it before the ice sets, or before, like, the winter?
Well,
no. Who's coming with me? No one? Well, you...
What it could have been was Stoic says, we're going searching, right? Who's with me? The crowd rallies, and then he turns to look at the priestess, and she nods. That's it.
They could have even done it just vice versa. It's like, they could have just had it more of like an after the fact, like, who's going with me? Oh, no one. Well, who can stay? Hiccup. Look after Hiccup. And then everyone's in, and it's like, okay, well, is this worthwhile?
Right.
And then he looks over, and she's already has done this. And
correct.
Like, she'd already done it. It didn't even matter. And she's like,
and yes. She just gives him the nod. That's all that needs to happen.
He doesn't need to ask. She just knows because he's already said who's coming with me.
So keep in mind, all of the notes I've done so far were just from the first watch. The second watch, I went back and I added things. So these are going to be in chronological order now, from start to finish, everything that we missed the first time around. The Night Fury not being there in the background. We talked about that in the opening with the DreamWorks logo.
It is a little bit easier to see in the Bola scene because it is larger now and blocks more of the stars.
We have the word Viking. It shows up in the opening monologue. 5 times.
Total in the movie, right?
5 times total in the movie, which is so confusing that they cut out Viking everywhere else, but they do use it 5 times. It's bizarre. The line Hiccup says when he's in the forge, when he says, ever since I was little, well, littler, that line isn't in there.
Well, a lot of his inner monologue is missing.
Correct.
Because he speaks his inner monologue, and as movies do, they don't tend to do the inner monologue stuff, because the quote-unquote inner monologue, the talking out loud their feelings and their thoughts, is a not actually very Western thing, for movies at least, right? That's a very Eastern, anime style thing, where they actually talk their feelings out loud. If not, you hear their voice in their head, physically. Right. Right? That's a very anime thing to do. Yeah. And a lot of people associate that with, cartoons a little bit. And in cartoons, you can get away with it really easily by just having the characters' thoughts in their head. And some movies will do it sometimes. But since it's associated with cartoons, and a lot of people still, for some reason, associate things like cartoons and anime as a kid thing, even though, as we well know, things like How to Train Your Dragon, sure, it is. Its primary audience and its target audience are 2 different things. The primary audience is children. Right. But the target audience is anyone who wants a good story. And it's the same with things like anime. Across the board, you have crazy stories that are not suitable for children at all. Things like Berserk, right? Or just some of the better crafted stories, things like One Piece or Frieren. Like if you're a child, you might gain something from One Piece, but the story will just go right over most people's heads. You'll see the cool fight scenes and the funnies, right? But as the story goes, we know, because we have seen them and we understand and have grown, that just because it's animated or cartoon does not mean it's a lesser form of media. Correct. But I think that a lot of the reason some of the inner monologue, that he speaks out loud normally, is missing is because of that association, which is unfortunate.
Makes me sad.
Because things like Frieren provide genuinely well-crafted stories that a child won't even comprehend in terms of story, right? There are some cool moments that would be cool to watch as a kid, but the story is entirely irrelevant and too boring for a child anyways.
Just because it's drawn in an animated style does not make it an inferior storytelling medium.
And just because you have it in a live-action setting does not mean it's better either. We see that with these Marvel movies and the Marvel TV shows and just ands with lots of films recently that have been doing so incredibly poorly, and just because they're in a live-action medium does not mean it's the better form of media.
The line, so there's Stoic is standing up on the catapult in the opening scene, and he turns and says, "Reload!"
I'll take care of
I'll
this.
take care of it. That line is missing. I'll take care of this. That line is missing. Why? It's aura farming. It is him standing on top with a monstrous nightmare on fire roaring up towards him. He just turns casually, reload! I'll take care of this. He flips his hammer in his hand and just, that's just aura farming. Why is it not there?
On the other hand, aura farming, a headbutt to the monstrous nightmare is pretty good.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they made him cooler there.
They dropped the line
but
that
they
made
dropped
him cool.
Right.
And added a thing that made him cool. Just keep both. And
Just
make
keep
him double
both.
Cool.
Exactly. Or the other line where he jumps off from the higher part of the village, catches the deadly natter with the net, and then wrestles it to the ground. He says the devil's still got some juice in him.
As they shoot fire out of the net, yeah.
Yeah. In the live action, he says this nader still got some fire in him. Why? The devil's still got some juice in him is badass.
Well, we can't call them devils because
See, that's what I thought. I thought that they removed it because they were scared of the term devil, but they didn't. They used the term devil in a later scene. So that's not why. They just got rid of it.
They changed it
from devil to natter. Why?
Interesting.
It's not like it's a big change, but it's like
it's a minor enough change that you might not even notice it.
Why? Though, why would you make that change? Just keep the script the same. The devil still got some juice in him.
It shows his disdain towards the monsters. He doesn't even see them as creatures.
Correct.
He sees them as something worse.
Devils, and it not only shows that, but it's very casual. The devil still got some juice, right? You don't call flames juice, right?
They got a little bit of fuel left, and he's juicing them.
Yeah.
Right?
Devil still got some juice in him. Let's go. That's very casual.
You're all out, aren't
exactly. Cracks knuckles. The rest, we've already talked about, right up until the downed dragon scene. So there's the scene Toothless is looking up, and then Hiccup starts talking to himself, right? And then he goes to stab. Then there's the scene where they lock eyes, right? And then there's that dramatic pause, da da da, and then Toothless gives up. He lays back down. He makes that sound, and then he gives up. That scene is not in the live action. He doesn't give up. There's not a scene where, after they're making eye contact, he gives up. It's not there.
What a whiff.
Yeah. The other thing about that scene is after Hiccup cuts him free, Toothless pins him against the rock, and literally, Hiccup's neck fits between two of his claws.
Dude, Hiccup is tiny, and
Tiny.
Toothless is large.
That doesn't happen in the
No,
live
they
action.
don't.
He just stands there like a cat.
On top of him, yeah.
There's a difference between this and this, and it's
because it's more like a Darth Vader, choking. But he's not quite choking.
Right, but it goes even more to show that point later of why didn't you kill me? Right, if he's just standing there like a whatever, and then he yells at him and then he runs off, it's okay, cool, it was just an animal, it's a wild animal attack. He literally got you pinned by the...
And easily could have killed you
easily,
right then and there.
Literally.
Very simply.
His hand is on your neck. You are
All
going
he has
to
to
die.
do is press even harder and you'll collapse.
Correct.
For free.
And it's just a little detail, but that characterization is...
I didn't realize that he didn't pin him down. I didn't think about that.
It's so minor. But it's why? Why did they make that change? Because they had to consciously change that. It's the same director. He knew what he was doing. Why did he change the pin? I don't know. So this also happened during the screening I was watching at the theater, when Toothless turns to fly away after having yelled at Hiccup, and then he turns to run.
He runs into the tree.
The sound just cut... Well, first of all, that part is way dumb. But the sound just cut out.
Maybe that might have been a theater.
It was a theater issue, but it was just funny. I just wrote it down.
Understandable. What theater did you see it in that second time?
Roadhouse.
No idea what that is. Sorry.
It's a super fancy restaurant theater.
Fair.
Regardless. Here's another thing I caught. At one point...
And peeks the red on the mic with an O.
Dude, at one point, Gobber does call it dragon training. They do call it dragon training.
But only once.
Only once.
Understandable.
It's just like the word Viking. It's they use the word, and then they don't use it. Why?
They forgot about it.
It's not that they have a problem with the word, because they use the word. The pre-training banter sucks in the live action.
Comparatively, yeah.
Where they're talking about, like, I hope I get some serious burns. Yeah, I'm hoping for some, like, scarring on my shoulder or lower back, right? All of that's gone. Doctor...
Pain. Love it.
Yeah. Oh, great. Who let him in? A doctor plus 5 speed. We talked about that. We talked about Astrid's whole come from nothing. I come from nothing. Weird. We talked about the Natter laughing at Snotlout. It's not in there. It needs to. It's funny. The dragon laughs at him. Haha.
Well, also, I think, as a personal thing, the Natter and Astrid have a similar personality, the same way all of the other ones do, including Toothless and Hiccup. Mm-hmm. So it's something that Astrid would have done as well.
Absolutely.
For sure. So,
it's something that it should have done.
Yeah. Because Astrid would have laughed at him in that scenario too.
In the animated movie, when Hiccup and Toothless are first meeting, Toothless yells at him, he like growls, and then Hiccup pulls out his knife, right?
And like tosses
drops it.
Kicks it to the side.
No. He drops it, and then Toothless goes, ow! He makes that little, like, it's not far enough.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen in the live action.
And Hiccup, like, puts it on
his boot, kicks it. And then there's, like, half a second.
And then Toothless sits
like a dog. And he goes like, wait a minute, you actually did it? That scene isn't in the live action. It's just, he drops the knife, and then Toothless goes calm. There's not this further, oh shit, he actually did it. That whole characterization is completely gone.
Toothless sitting like a dog right then as well is a peak comedy.
Yes, it is. Hiccup doesn't draw the tail back. We talked about that. Music during the Zippleback training is wrong.
What do you mean by that?
I would have to listen to it again, but I made this note. Something about the music is wrong.
Do you think it's not quite dramatic enough?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I literally don't know what it is. I haven't listened to the track since then, but I know that note is on there. I can't substantiate it.
The I feel like you're missing one of the banter pieces as well right there. That makes it a little bit worse.
Now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's that there's no music. It is. There's no music during the live action. Because remember, there's kind of this score that swells as Hiccup like pulls out the eel and starts like pushing it back into the cage, and there's that music in the background.
Well, the music also swells.
It doesn't exist.
The music also hits on like when he completely whiffs the water bucket.
Yes.
The music starts like it's more of like a tense, frightened kind of almost a stringsy thing.
And then the Zippleback starts like cracking with electricity. That doesn't happen. That's why I put that on there. The Terrible Terror licks his eyeball.
At least they had John Powell back. If they'd had anyone else try and redo the music, something would have been terrible.
I wrote a note on here. It says, do the positions actually mean anything? On Hiccup's notes with the 6 different positions. I'm curious.
They all are shaped differently in the
They're shaped
notes.
differently, but do they actually correspond with what he's saying? I don't know. I just wrote that.
So like on test drive, is he actually saying?
Is he actually doing? Yes.
Yeah. In the cartoon, he does.
In the cartoon, he does. So I don't know if that attention to detail, but I note that. The next doesn't happen. We've talked about everything I don't like so far, all the way up until the scene where Stoic and Hiccup are talking, and it's the breast hat, right? And what happens? That's a great scene, honestly, in the live action. It's very tense. They still have the same kind of humor, but what they miss is that after Stoic walks outside, it cuts to him. And he just looks really satisfied with himself.
He's like, I did a good job.
Yeah, exactly. And then he bonks his head on like the tools on the way out. That scene doesn't exist in the live action.
It's a funny moment that like explains that Hiccup and Stoic are in fact similar. They're not entirely different. They are still similar. They're just in different places. Because the bonk on the head is very comical, and it is it's not a full callback, but definitely a clear, distinct reminder when Hiccup slaps the tree and bonks him on the face. Both are very clumsy.
Yes.
Stoic makes up for it by being able to break the rock with his head, but
There's another interesting line that was missing, and this is just before the kidnapping scene. So Astrid, when Astrid discovers Toothless, she's like, "Run, run!" And then Hiccup steps in between them, and he says, "You just scared him." There's a scene. I scared him? And she, like, flinches. There's literally a visible, "I scared him?" Who is him? That doesn't exist in the live-action movie.
No, they changed it a bit.
Astrid Toothless, Toothless Astrid. That doesn't exist.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. So, but it's another one of those little things that they removed that means a lot.
We talked about the dexterity flip catch that is missing. There's the line when they're flying, right? This is Hiccup and Astrid together. The romantic flight.
Literally called romantic flight. Yeah.
Yeah, where she goes, "This is amazing. He's amazing." Doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Don't know why. No night view of Burke. We talked about that.
The night view of Burke is quite important. Like you said, it's one of the moments that flips her.
Yep, it is. It's the seeing her village.
It also doesn't flip her entirely, though.
Right.
Right. Like, she still needs to build up.
This is a really interesting thing that they cut. So, when it first shows early on Toothless stuck in the well, it shows him trying to climb the wall, but he can't do it. Like, he can't climb, he's stuck. At the end, when Hiccup calls out, it shows him climbing up, doing the same thing he did before.
There's lots of the marks there, though.
He hits his claws, and then they lock. There's that scene where it gets up on the ledge, and then they lock. And it's this idea of, like, you won't fight as hard to save yourself as you will to fight to save a friend.
In that scene, though, isn't there the claw marks still?
Yeah.
So did they cut the scene where he'd already been clawing at it?
No. What they cut was the close-up of his claws going like this. The close-up of him.
I thought he does lock in the live action still.
No,
like,
he doesn't. It just shows him climbing. It doesn't show that claw over this, lock in.
Interesting. I thought that must be one of those things where the cartoon is like that lock in is better, because in the cartoon and even in the live action, right? You see there's lots of claw marks he's been trying at for a while.
Yes, but he's never gotten it.
Well,
and it's
I think some of it also, though, as well, the addition of his tail, even in its not fully functioning form without Hiccup on, might just be that little bit enough that gives him that 1% that he can lock the claws on top because of Hiccup for Hiccup, right?
The implication of that scene, right, is that Toothless could not
He's
save
giving it all
himself.
100% instead of just 99%.
Exactly. He's doing something for a friend, and because he's doing it for someone else, he's able to lock in. And that's missing. And that's sad.
Interesting. I didn't realize that was the same. But in terms of like missing, the cartoon is just better.
It's a little character detail, but it's important. Stoic doesn't throw the spear to hit the Red Death. It's sad. It just goes to show how badass Stoic is when he hits this big fucking dragon and knocks its head sideways. Like, okay, Stoic, valid.
He picks up the spear and throws it, right?
Not in the live action.
What does he throw in the live action?
He doesn't throw anything. He walks over to a catapult and he strains to push it to turn it. He turns the catapult and then releases the catapult, and that's his big. It hits the side.
So he's nowhere near as strong.
He's nowhere near as cool.
In terms of like the strength across the live action to the cartoon, everyone is toned down in strength, so it makes a little bit more sense.
It doesn't even matter. Even if the strength was toned down, Stoic still should have picked up one of the things and hucked it at the thing. Because even if he's not strong enough to do that, you make it out of foam, cardboard, or whatever, you throw it, you CGI the spear hitting the dragon and the Red Death getting knocked sideways.
Well, not even as a strength thing, but just like as the live action, everyone across the board has toned down strength, just in general.
Right.
For the characters. It's not even, I don't think it's even it's probably to do with what the actors were capable of, but as a whole, all of the characters were brought more down into that kind of realistic category. Which is unfortunate, because Stoic the Vast is a 6'4" Giga Chad and will, level forests.
Crush mountains, level forests. There's the scene when Toothless and Hiccup are fighting the Red Death, when Hiccup starts to kind of voice his plan to Toothless, and he says, "Okay, bud, it's time to disappear." That line doesn't exist.
It's a very simple line,
But
it works because Toothless understands that probably very well. Actually, they could just.
He's a stealth bomber. He's a B-50, not even a B-52.
He's an SR-70.
SR-70. No, that's the Blackbird, dude.
No,
That's
the SR-71 Blackbird is the fastest aircraft still.
Yeah.
In terms of, like, especially stealth, too. He's SR-71.
Right.
He's the
So when
fastest.
he says time to disappear, it's not just a, oh, hey, haha, funny. That's Hiccup realizing, hey, wait a minute. I've got a black dragon in a black sky.
And it's foggy outside.
Let's play to my strengths. It shows how smart Hiccup is. He's not
both
just...
of them are smart.
Right.
But Hiccup, in this case, is the tactical genius, almost. It's
Yeah.
why he's... I mean, Stoic is also very smart.
Right.
The way that he sets up the catapults, and the way that he instantly understands, no, do not go to the boats, as everyone's running
Yes,
back to the boats.
that exactly.
Right, because, like I said, Hiccup and Stoic are very similar.
Yes.
They just are different in terms of physicality.
Right.
But in terms of smarts, in terms of stubbornness, how brave and courageous they will be, how far they're willing to go for their friends and family. Right. They're the same person.
Yeah.
Just at different times in their
Every
life.
bit the boar-headed, stubborn Viking you ever were.
Yeah, exactly. So it makes sense that he's very, very smart. He's very creative, especially like in the crafting. So like the creativity in that fight, especially having the knowledge that he does, missing knowledge from the live action because he never has the scene with the not so fireproof on the inside. But then you have the knowledge that Hiccup has acquired over the last several weeks of the dragon training and the See You Tomorrow flash forwards. It makes sense. Like he formulates a plan that should work based on his experience and his knowledge.
Yep.
And it does. It doesn't work entirely because he still gets knocked off and needs to be saved.
Right.
Which is why he loses his leg in the end because it's not perfect. He doesn't have that the first time.
Well, if you remember, the reason that happens is because dragons are fireproof on the outside, but the tail is not, and Hiccup didn't account for that. Well, Toothless maybe didn't react to it, right? Because he's just fireproof, whatever.
He didn't.
So when the
feel
Red
it.
Death was spinning fire everywhere, it's like, okay, whatever,
But
right?
they do announce that though in the cartoon. I don't know if I feel like they did. It's like, okay, time's up.
Time's up. Exactly. He does realize, oh shoot, we're not fireproof. That's where his plan is like, okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, during that free fall scene, number one, the fact that Hiccup doesn't have the plan. There's no way he knows that he should wait for the Red Death to shoot fire at it. That's fine.
Yeah, because
whatever.
as soon as it starts to formulate its own gas, blast.
But as they're falling, in the animated version, Toothless has this panicked look on
Like
his
I
face.
need to save.
It's like,
him.
no. He's like, this
Toothless
is...
like straight up like flapping just as fast as he ever has, and he's like gunning for him. In that's the only reason he catches him in time.
No. This is before they fall off.
Oh, before
This
he
is
falls off.
as it's coming down.
Yeah, that panic
Hiccup-
look as well.
Toothless is like, what's your plan? Like, I'm trusting you.
There is no plan.
I'm trusting
We're
you,
cooked.
but we're good. In the animated, he's like, and Hiccup is like, it's okay, bud, just hang on a little bit longer. And Toothless kind of nods, but he's panicking, and everything's falling apart, right? But he trusts Hiccup the whole way down. That look, that panic, that, hey, this is going really bad. I really hope
Now.
you have a plan.
And then they
that
flip
look
around.
isn't on Toothless's face. He's just wrong. And then it crashes, it explodes. The explosion is better, because of course it is, right?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of
In
CGI.
15 years.
Yep.
15 years does a lot for everything, except for my body weight.
And that is finally the end of my rant about this movie. It was worse in almost every way. It didn't need to exist.
Well, what it has done, though, I would imagine, it has probably bolstered the amount of people who will go and watch the cartoon now as like a, I wonder what they changed, right? And then they'll see the cartoon was better, and that there's a second and third one, and they'll probably watch that. So it probably has introduced the story to more people than had been previously understood.
And this movie made me so like, if I had to give How to Train Your Dragon, the original, a rating before today, it would have been 10 out of 10. Easily. It's my favorite movie of all time. If you had to ask me to give it a rating today, I would give it an 11 out of 10. The rating went up retroactively. Why? Because you don't
see how it is now. Can they do something like that now? And the answer is probably no.
They couldn't. Like, all of those small details that we talked about, those little things, they're in the original movie.
Mm-hmm. There are little things that they could have added to the original to make it better. Like, it is still... I don't think it's a perfect movie, but, like, as films go, it is definitely up there.
But with better tech, better experience, more time, even with all of that working for them, a bigger budget, they cannot match the magic of the original. Those little details, it's the little things. And that's why I want to do, like, a podcast for it. Because it's not just, hey, I'm going to do, like, a quick movie review, like, oh, it was better, it was worse, they cut out a scene. There are all of these little details. Everything.
But instead, we had to do The Little Platoon and spend 3 hours talking about a 2-hour movie.
And
at least we're not
3 hours and 45 minutes, in fact.
We're cooked, is what you're saying. First of all, I'd like to wish you the best of luck editing this. And second of all,